Class, today we are going to be talking about things that rot your brain. Teacher, I hear the Rob Taylor report will rot my brain. Is that true? What a tool. Well, that's correct, Susie. If you listen to the Rob Taylor report, it will rot your brain. Therefore, you must dive under your desk, grab the back of your head, and do the duck and cover maneuver. Let's see this example. Mama, I want to watch the Rob Taylor report. Timmy, no! It's too late. You've been warned. Children should not watch the Rob Taylor report. Somebody please think of the children!
Hey everyone, it's the Friday Night Rant, and I've got a couple of ranters with me, professional ranters. I've got Marty Kuhrt, and I got Ciatta Thompson. Ciatta, how you doing?
Hi guys, doing great.
I am not a professional ranter because I'm not getting paid for this. But
that
then
is
again,
true.
I would do it even if I wasn't getting paid. Proof positive I'm doing this and not getting paid. And there we go. There's my call. My agent is calling, making sure I get paid.
You're going to get fired now. I knew it.
Fired. Wow. That's the shortest show I've ever been on. I mean, I've been fired on air before, but not 30 seconds into the show.
Not 30 seconds. So, Ciatta, Marty, why no Halloween parties? No Halloween things to do?
Actually, I was invited to a Halloween get-together at Mr. Ed's down in Gold Beach. I hear it's quite the shindig, but I said, well, yeah, I got to be around at 8 p.m., so I don't think going to a Halloween party and being around at 8 p.m. is going to be something I can do, so...
How about you, Ciatta? Anything exciting?
I actually have to work overnight tonight. So
oh no.
I work at a hotel. Someone called in sick, and I'm the manager. So heavy is the head. That wears the crown. So I get to go work overnight on Halloween night. So hopefully it's gonna be fine. Knock on wood.
And it's a Friday and it's Halloween. Oh boy, that ought to be entertaining tonight.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Let's not put it out. Cancel all that. It's going to be great. People are going to behave themselves. They're going to come in, pass out.
Be cool. Be cool. That's all I can say, man.
Actually, as far as Portland goes, how would you know that it's not Halloween or not based on all I've seen going on recently?
That's true.
You know, people wandering around in costumes, some drunk, some high, some just like passing out in the streets. And you're like, every day is like Halloween. I mean, you know.
It's a Tuesday night. Yeah, right. But yeah.
They all dress normal. You get, you go outside and everything's like a Norman Rockwell painting. Yeah. It's like, whoa, that's weird, man. You guys have freaked me out. You win.
Yeah, so, it's a bizarre world. They do the reverse. That's awesome.
Yeah, button-down shirts, Docksider shoes, the Buffy wearing the knit sweater, the whole schmoo. I mean, it's
they go Mad Men themed. Yeah,
that would be cool. That would be cool. That would
be scary.
Just for a day, just to see how it turns out.
Right.
Ashley Hicks says, hello from Roseburg. Missed you last weekend. I'm sorry, Ashley. I was celebrating my son's 27th anniversary, and it's hard to tell people that we're not going to be doing this. It's not like you're going to be on air and you're able to say, hey, I'm not going to be here because I'm not here to do that. So, but thank you for tuning in. She's got her fingers crossed, and she says, happy Halloween.
Happy
Halloween. I was kind of curious about that myself. It's like, how do you do a show where you're saying we're not doing a show? I mean,
I send out a newsletter on Monday, and I didn't know Monday that I wasn't going to be doing a show Friday, but it was a weird week because we stayed all week. We got a new headquarters down here, the Republican headquarters, friends of the Republican headquarters,
friends of the Republican Party.
Yes, and so we were there all week trying to gather signatures, and I think we gathered zero is completely one.
No, actually, we got 6 because I took the 6 out of the back seat of my car that I'd gotten somewhere else and added it to the pile. So
nice.
As far as people actually showing up at the location, we had 3 people show up, and 2 of them were marshals. So
It's like, okay. And one person was like, what do you guys do here? And we said something and they went and just walked away. And I'm like, okay, well, at least they didn't throw anything. I guess I'm
Yeah,
happy about that.
that's wild.
That's always nice.
That's for the recall,
Yeah,
or
we had the
No,
recall.
we didn't have the recall. We turned in those petitions,
Yeah.
but we had the vote by mail, of course, and we have vote before tolls. And I think what has happened is that the recall was the pool bringing everyone in. And so when the tax repeal comes out, it's going to happen again. We'll get just flood it with people coming in, and we'll get signatures for the other two off of that one.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's nice that we now have a solid headquarters because Rob and I were getting a little tired of doing the pop-up tents. Tuesdays we'd be in Bandon for 4 hours. Wednesdays we'd be in Coos Bay for 4 hours. Pop-up tent, standing in the wind and the rain and the people and the traffic and the glavin and whatever. And then and then we after 4 hours, both of us were like going, man, my back is killing me, but we still have to tear down this tent and put it away. And then so
right.
then somebody came up with it. Well, I was actually a long time ago going, we ought to get a storefront. Find one of these storefronts that's empty. Go to the landlord and say, hey, you're making $0 now. How'd you like to make $200 a month? And we'll
Yeah,
just set up a thing there. And then actually we got somebody that was beneficial to our cause that said, hey, I've got an empty storefront. Why don't you take this over? And it used to be Zion Baptist Church or something. And it's
Yeah.
like it has room for 200 people. We brought in a bunch of chairs and tables and couches and whatnot. And so now we're going to use it not only for signature gathering, and we're hoping to get volunteers to be there at least from like 2 to 6 weekdays. But we're going to see if we can get more people to be there more often. And then we're offering the space up to other people that want to join. So Chris is going to be having his coffee with conservatives on Saturday morning. If anybody else wants to have a space where they want to have meetings, and they're, not Antifa, we'll be more than happy to, allow them to use the space. And
Marty, there is no Antifa. It's just an ideology.
oh
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
I,
I mean,
I forgot about the gaslighting. I'm supposed to be. I wasn't reading my gaslighting notes today. My bad. Sorry.
come on.
For people who don't exist, I did a lot of battling with them in Portland.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
They show up in a lot of places for fictional people. Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
Have
Yeah.
you had any problems? You've been out gathering signatures. Have you had any problems with them?
I haven't actually. We just went a couple of weeks ago to Pioneer Square, actually, and for a couple of hours, we are just kind of testing the waters on a rainy Sunday. We had I woke up and I prayed about it. I was like, safety and all that, especially with ice not too far away, and there was a stretch of 2 hours where there was no rain. I was like, okay, that means it's a go. So we set up the table literally in front of the courthouse, just across the street. And we got 4 or 5 signatures. And I mean, it wasn't actually super hard. And so we were right there by the Max station, which I think we're going to do that again throughout the next, winter and all that as we're gathering more signatures. But it's a great spot. So I'm actually hopefully in the next week going to set up the schedule. I'm in charge of Multnomah County when it comes to that. So that's my plan, is to take up space right in the heart of Portland as much as possible, and then in a few other places throughout the county. So but that was kind of wow, we got signatures in Multnomah County. Holy crap.
Right.
And right here in Portland's living room. So I mean,
That's cool.
Not everyone is okay with the square inch of blade of grass that all of our elected officials keep showing to reflect that everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Don't
Don't
look here.
According to this picture from 2012, everything in Portland is peachy.
And this is the square. Don't look to the left or right. It's just this blade of grass. Totally fine.
Portland was such a beautiful city. This is the sad part. Portland was the city that when I lived in Albuquerque, that was where that was one of the cities the kids talked about going to was Portland. Grunge was coming out. Seattle and Portland were hot, and they were beautiful, thriving cities. And it's like, man, we just really, that grunge music. I blame the grunge. That Kurt Cobain. I don't know.
I know he would. Yeah. Well, I mean, same. I'm Gen X, and so growing up, it was, our generation. We listened to everything. I listened to rap. I listened to hip hop. I listened to grunge. Country. Like it just was this of all this great music. We had Prince. We had Michael Jackson. We had classics. Ray Charles. All these guys. Making just hit after hit after hit, and so. Yeah, I mean, my mom mentioned to me years ago that my sister was even talking about moving to Seattle because she was going into college when I was born, so huge age gap. But for like a 20-year age gap, she was like considering moving up to the Pacific Northwest. So, I mean, I know I studied urban planning. It was always highlighted as like the place to be, well-run city. It was always exciting, gay marriage, all of these things. It was like, wow, this place is amazing. And then when I started visiting in the early aughts, because I helped a friend move out here, it was incredible. It was like, wow, people really chill, beautiful landscapes. We could go to the beach. We'd go bouncing around downtown, bar hopping, whatnot, hanging out with her friends. And I've been coming back for basically a year every couple of years, and then when I finally moved here, then I was like, what happened to the place in 2020?
That's it.
Yeah,
it was great until Ciatta moved in.
I know. I guess I brought all the like dark, gringy.
What'd you do, man?
Yeah, I was kind of the same way with San Francisco. I mean, before. I came out to San Francisco for a couple of trade shows, and it was like, wow, what a beautiful city. You got the Golden Gate, you got the Bay Bridge, you got that Coit Tower, you got that funky, windy street, and cable cars everywhere. And, it's a lot of fun. I mean, in downtown, there's like grunge bars, there's like Dixieland bars, there's like jazz bars, and, just everybody was fun. And then, I moved there to do high tech work. And in the span of the 20 years I lived there, it went from, this is a great place to live to, there's a lot of places I don't want to be after dark around here.
Wow.
And it's like, even, thanks, Phil. Even in some of the places where you would go for, upscale like clubs and stuff that the venues were putting on for the trade shows, you'd like, okay, once you leave the upscale club or the upscale hotel, you're like, and I got to go 8 blocks to get to my hotel. So we're going in a group, and it used to be like you could wander around all the time and everything was cool. And it went from that to you better walk in a huddle or you're going to be in trouble.
Yikes.
Phil's giving you crap, Marty. I'll tell you what. Once they get into office, that's what they're like. You know what I mean? The power goes to their head, and he's on the transit board. He thinks he's somebody now, Mr. Phil. Yeah, Mr. Phil Taylor. Marty, you better take off the Halloween mask. I have to agree with him. I mean,
I gotta. never been known for my stellar good looks.
I know.
I mean, I thought GQ was Geek Quarterly, not Gentleman's Quarterly.
We were made for radio. I mean, that's just plain and simple. I keep getting older and uglier. It's like, wow, I don't know how this even is possible. How can you get more ugly?
Every time I do a Zoom call, somebody goes, "Hey, Marty," and I normally, except for this show, I never turn my camera on. And when I'm on a Zoom call, somebody goes, "Marty, you should turn your camera on." I'm going, "Nah, sorry, ain't happening."
I got a video. Let me see if I can share this video. Where is it? Steve Hamerson, the man, sent it to me, and share this tab instead. Let me see if I can get it up there. And I'm going to play this video because He did such a fine job on this.
That's cool.
You can tell she's got kids. All right. Enough of that.
That's cute.
That's cute.
Yeah, and I live like 7 miles south of town on back at the end of a 2 mile road through the woods where, yeah, if somebody showed up trick or treating, I'd be like, oh, somebody go get the machete. There's somebody at the door.
Go grab the shotgun if someone's trick-or-treating in Marty's neighborhood. He lives on one of those Oregon driveways that only a single car can go down, and you've got 60-foot trees on each side of you, and it's like, yeah, he's like a bear way back there in the woods.
Yeah.
It's like,
so it's going into like every scary movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Road. Got it. Yeah.
Every time it's like if I ever walk the lot and I hear
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I gotta run now.
The chick is up.
Since I got you two here, let me share this other page. Let me share this tab. There was another petition out, and I didn't hear anything about it. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. All right. I got it. And it's a new petition that was put out by, let's see here, by Oregon Business, I think. And it's a petition to address the unsanctioned camping. This is Oregon Business and Industry. Oregon Business and Industry filed an initiative petition, the Local Control and Safety Act, that seeks to repeal a 2021 Oregon law that prevents cities and counties from addressing unsanctioned camping. Repealing this law would allow communities to determine themselves how to respond to the homelessness crisis in our streets and improve community safety. Have you guys heard of this?
I have. I was just reading something about that last week, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a great idea.
Me too.
It's time to overall put more responsibility back into the local cities and counties and give them the power because they're dealing with the stuff in real time. Yeah. So 100% on board with that.
So I called them. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, since I haven't read the article, can you give me the Reader's Digest version of it? And what's the whole idea? I mean, what is it
they passed that law saying that you cannot kick anyone camping on public property if you cannot provide a space for them to sleep. That went to court. It went all the way, I believe, to the Supreme Court or the Ninth Circuit Court, and they lost. They no longer can do. They were supposed to be able to do that, and now the cities they should be able to decide for themselves what to do about this problem. And I think it's better than just having a cookie cutter solution because it's not working, obviously. And so they put out this initiative or filed the initiative because I don't think it's out yet. They haven't called me back. I called them and told them, hey, I want a big part of this. And so when they get back to me, I'm going to try to get that. But basically what it does is allows the cities to decide what to do with the campers. If they're on public property, you got to go. And in some cases, these people need to go. I mean, they've had all kinds of opportunities to go into places where they can get clean, they can get food, they can stay, but they don't want to stay. Why? Because, well, they have to follow rules. One of them is you have to be clean. One of them is you can't be a hoarder. One of them is, gosh knows, you can't be doing drugs and raping people. So, crazy.
No yeah, I think for sure. I think that's a powerful move. Since last year's election, the energy has shifted massively. Yeah. I know. Oregon, the whole country moved to the right. Even Oregon moved like 2% to the right. And I don't even want to call it the right. It's just back to common sense. It's just like, there's just certain things we just can't do. I was just talking to someone recently, and they were asking, like, is this normal? We're always being told, like, every city has problems and homelessness is a factor. But I've lived in New York. I've lived in South Florida. I've lived in St. Louis. I've visited other countries, other parts of the country. And nowhere have I seen it. There's like this where camps are just allowed to flourish. Streets are being just taken over by just a lot of young men hanging out, zoned out. And, it's not good for society. It's not good for these individuals. And it's inhumane. Personally, I feel like that's, with the Trump executive order shifting away from housing first to treatment, now is a great opportunity whenever federal dollars finally start coming in to start building the drug treatment facilities, to start building the long-term mental health facilities. Great way to put people to work. We need jobs.
Just saying.
Just saying.
You stop that with your common sense there, lady.
I know. I'm a Hitler. I guess I want people to go to work. I guess.
Every time they say,
most people want to work and make a life for themselves and their families. It would save a lot of issues. It would take care of a lot of issues, starting with that, and then obviously give people the help they need and get them back on the road, that then they can be productive people in society. Because right now they're enslaved to this drug or whatever mental health situation. So they're not like deciding this is camping. Like this is, even the word camping is like soft language, as George Carlin would say. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, and this is essentially being done on purpose. I mean, the fact that they're having, they're saying, oh yeah, you got to let them sleep anywhere. If you can't find them a place to sleep, you can't kick them out. And, and we're going to do, and I keep forgetting the phraseology, and Rob, maybe you can help me out with this, where it's like, harm reduction, where it's like, we're going to give you more drugs because that's harm reduction. I'm going, there's absolutely, positively no way you're going to get anybody cleaned up if you keep giving them drugs for free, places to stay for free, food for free. It's like, you've already gone down that line where it's like taking drugs seems to be a good idea. And then if you enable that, that is not helping. That is not caring. That is actually feeding the machine. There's a lot of money that goes into homeless stuff. And, and they say, oh, housing first. Well, whose buddies are on the mark? How many billions of dollars are being spent to provide housing where nobody's getting housing? And, and the homeless numbers are still going up. And it's like, well, somebody's making a whole lot of money. And the reason they're doing that, and the reason that they want people on drugs, and the reason they want people, lower the or raise the bar for what is crime and what is not crime, is because if you overwhelm the police, then your organized crime syndicate, which is basically the Oregon government right now, is just, you can get away with everything because you don't want these DAs and these police people getting in your way. So just keep letting everybody go, and nothing's really a crime. And oh well, you're such a we feel so bad that you're on drugs. We're going to give you all this stuff to keep you on drugs because all the stuff they give you for free is not getting you clean.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, when I used to do drugs, I worked very hard every day because I had a drug dealer to support, and I didn't steal from people. I've never been homeless. I had a house, and, I worked very, very hard for the lifestyle that I lived. And it makes me mad. Now these kids are like, oh, we want you to give us your drugs. Hey, in my day, we had to work for it, damn it.
Right.
And, it was like we had to bust our ass. And if they caught us sleeping on the street, well, the cops would come by in the middle of the night and rap us over the head with a few times with their billy club, and that would be it. So times have changed because we don't keep people responsible. We want to allow them to continue excusing their bad habits and blaming society and the rest of us for those ills. It's funny, they blame society, and yet then they want society to pick them up. So it's like, so you want, we make you crippled and then you want us to provide the crutch. Well,
Right.
I want something more than that.
Well,
we're
we're seeing that with
crutches.
the SNAP situation, and for folks dealing with that tomorrow. That's pretty scary for the families that need it.
Yep.
But come to find out, they're college students on SNAP, and it's like, wait a minute, I couldn't get SNAP when I was in college. It would have been great because it was a lot of ramen and hot dogs. I remember that, but
I know.
Like
I lived on Campbell soup and ramen for years, and it's like, man, and I grew up with parents that went through the Depression and World War II and all that stuff. So if you went on the dole, if you actually had to have government assistance, that means you were an abject, utter failure.
Yeah.
You would never go and get government assistance. I mean, it was bad enough if you had to go ask friends to help you out, much less get government money to do stuff. And it's like, and it's just, now it's like you have, what is it, 750,000 people in Oregon alone on SNAP, 46 million people in the country on SNAP, and one of the senators was going, Tina Kotek is doing such a great job releasing $5 million in emergency money for these people on SNAP because the government is letting them down. I'm going, hey, Senator, you could have voted yes, and the government would still be open. But no, you'd rather blame Trump. But the whole point is okay, she gave away $5 million to support SNAP. That's less than $7 per SNAP recipient. So here's your $7. Get a Happy Meal and share it with your whole freaking family. And that's what you get for now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just despicable. I posted something on X the other day about there being projected $2 billion or almost in the rainy day fund for the state, and $5 million, a drop in the bucket. Like, just pay the tab. Just pay for the SNAP. You're going to get the money back. It's not like, what are you saving it for?
Right. And then start looking into cutting off people who don't need it, because there are plenty of people who do need it. I know these people, and they're in, I know a lady right now who's part of the one of our groups, and she's disabled. You know what I mean? She can't get a job, and she lives on the $247 she gets from SNAP every month. And she's going to be losing that. And of course, it's a great concern, but she's going to go to the charities that have offered food, and she's going to make through that way. But you're right. If the state would have just prepared for this, they know it was going to happen. They could have backfilled the money from some other place, allocated it, and then shifted back once the money was paid. It's not that hard.
Government
it's just
shutdown.
Math, guys. It's not that hard. It's just math. And, I'm not the best. I was a C student in math. That was my half. But I know how to add and subtract and do just basic multiplication. And I mean, it's just not hard. I mean, at some point, federal dollars are going to come loose, and hopefully it's soon, because I don't want people not getting paid and all of those things. But also I want to make sure that, the benefits go to Americans. Like, that's not like anybody who's trying to move to another country, they ask you, they dig through your finances so hard to make sure you're not going to be on their Social Security or any of their social programs, that you need to have like $50,000 to $100,000 at least in the bank. You need to show these are things that lots of other countries have in place to even consider moving there. Right.
So that used to be in place here, where it's like you had to have a sponsor. You had to have like somebody that said, okay, this person's not going to be a burden to society. This person, you had to have like prove that you were going to have a job or had a job.
Right.
And, and now it's like, well, over the last 4 years, it's wide open borders. We're paying you to come into the country. We're giving you Medicare, Medicaid, full benefits right off the bat. We're paying you all this money to come here. Well, and of course, once again, that was done on purpose. This was not like a procedural slip up. No. So, I mean, it's like, and then as Ivan says, it's like getting back to the like going on government dole. It's like, well, it used to be when you had food stamps, you actually had to go up there and it looked like monopoly money.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the grocery store. I mean, I've never used food stamps because, like I said, I'd rather eat ramen. But it was, people in line would be using food stamps, and it looked like monopoly money, and they'd feel bad about having to get their food stamps out and pay with monopoly money. And so then they changed it so it was plastic cards and they were
Mm,
EBT cards. And
Right.
now you look just like everybody else in line paying with a credit card.
yeah.
So, I mean, so it's just they keep moving, they keep making it more and more socially acceptable because the idea is they want everybody to be dependent on the government as much as possible. So that's why you have affordable health care, which is not, but that's why everybody has to buy it. And that's why, you have 46 million people on SNAP, because they want you dependent on the government because they want to control your life. And it's not the people we represent. It's not, or not the people that represent us. It's not the people that we elected. It's,
Right.
the people that are installed that are taking over and doing this big power exchange. I mean, we've got a color revolution going on right here in our country right now. And, and they're have been actively trying to overthrow our country for quite a while. And there's one guy getting in their way.
Yeah.
And it makes them very, very upset because they had the media controlled. They had pretty much everything controlled. And this guy came in and tipped over their T card or whatever you want to call it.
Someone made a really good point that Trump spent the last 50 years, whatever, in the rooms with these with the power brokers. Like he's been at the dinner table, he's been in the ballroom, he's been in all these spaces wheeling and dealing with these folks. So he hears them when they look down their nose at the plumber or the trash man or the teacher or what have you. And the fact is that, he knows these people. So like for them to turn around and you've got like all these photos of him at everyone's Clinton's wedding, Chelsea's wedding. Like, okay, you invited Hitler to your child's wedding? Really? That's
kind of weird.
Kind of weird. Why would you do
Did you
this?
guys know that? Didn't you know he was Hitler? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, but
so for them to now, I appreciate the fact that he doesn't need their money, he doesn't need the respect, and he's like, I welcome your disdain, I welcome your scorn. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I'm still rich, and again, this year was pivotal. This last election was pivotal because a lot of people 10 years ago when he came down the escalator and said what he said, it was like, what? I know I was one of them, like a two-time Bernie bro. I was like, what's this old man talking about? And really didn't pay attention. It was like, all right, whatever. But 10 years later, it was like, oh, dang, he was right. It was like, okay, now I see what he was talking about. Oh gosh. I was totally wrong. And just realizing that, there were people who actively working against the country. A lot of them were, bureaucrats and folks that weren't elected, but were selected by those elected officials to bring the country to its knees. So it's really, it's like, thank you, Jesus, for the working class people. That's what saved the election. It was the working class people who were like, groceries too high, got to do something about that. Can't buy a house. My kids can't, move out of the house. Like, they can't get apartments on their own, things like that. And
eggs were $12 when he went into office, and I'm paying now back to $4 for a carton.
I think it was $3.95 the last time I went, and I was like, am I looking at the right eggs? I had to check the shelf. Is it the dozen large? Because occasionally I'd fall for it's only $3.99, and it'd be like, it's a 6-pack, not a dozen. Oh, oops.
Mm-hmm.
But this time it was like $3.99 for a dozen. And I'm like, oh, okay, just let it settle. I mean, there's still a lot of things. I mean, the last couple of weeks of the Biden administration, the EPA and whatnot went after and basically killed tens of millions of laying chickens because of some sort of bird flu that they couldn't detect for some reason, but still had to kill the laying chickens. But it didn't affect the fryers, and it didn't affect the turkeys, and it really didn't affect anything else. But it certainly made the prices of eggs shoot through the roof. So, once again, it was planned. It was done that way on purpose. They were, shifting so much money out of so many agencies because they knew at some point USAID was going to be cut off, and they knew at some point all their phony baloney, NGOs were going to be, shut down. And so they were just going way out of their way to shift a whole lot of money at the last minute because they knew there's a new sheriff in town, and
Yeah.
he's and now he knows who all the people who were stabbing him in the back for the first 4 years are, and he knows all the bad players in the administration and the
Yeah.
legislature and the NGOs and the non-elected people that are like running things like they can make laws but they can't. And and he's been, a couple of fake impeachments, a couple of assassinations. I'm basically saying he doesn't give an F. He's gonna go, this is the way it's gonna go. And if you don't like it, I basically don't care. And I kind
The
of have the
nice,
same thing. You get all
yeah,
these people doing their no kings thing, and I'm like going, what do you think the correlation is between no kings and people on Snap? And do you think
right.
they're changing their minds now? Hey, Mr. King, can I have my Snap?
Yeah.
Right.
You can't have it both ways where you tell
Yeah.
someone, we don't want you as my king because we don't have rulers. And by the way, could you please provide my housing, education, food, and clothing, please?
Yeah.
That's the contradiction I see in them going out there and doing this kind of stuff. Any government that's big enough to give you everything is big enough to take it away from
Take
you.
it all away. Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. Ciatta, one of the reasons I wanted you on here is I loved your videos. You've been going around and you were kind of ranting on the last couple of videos. I loved it. I was like, I got to have her on the Friday night rant. She's there, man. And so tell us what's going on and what is Portland like now? Because it seems to have it's a weird atmosphere. Maybe you can describe it.
Well, it's like the 80s or 90s, like teenage party movie where mom and dad is coming around the corner. You see the car like coming around and they're like, oh, scrap, we got to clean the house.
Yeah.
And like, it's a disaster and everybody's like running around and, some Ferris Bueller stuff where it's like, oh, it's all clean now. Like,
Yeah.
I was about ready to do the song from Ferris Bueller.
Right. But it is one of those, like, my heart has been really hurting for the residents of Gray's Landing, the low income housing, which is right across the street. And, that it's almost 5 months of this nonstop protesting. And it really was just like, I'm sure we all saw the video of Cloud just like going off, like, again, a Black woman, but that doesn't count because she's not she's not the right kind of because it's like she's not
the right kind of Black woman.
Yeah, I guess because she's not cheering for chaos. She's just trying to sleep. Like, come on, guys.
Right.
Like after midnight. I've gone down there a handful of times because I don't work too far from there, and been down there with Honey Badger and Katie and seen. The last month it's definitely been a big circus because all these new faces just flew in from wherever. Yeah. And I kind of was like, try to stay away from that. But it's like to see them. I was there last Saturday. I went down for like an hour and just wanted to see where things were. And they had taken down the Antifa tent. There was still a pile of stuff that they had left. But, it's, I think for the most part, it's like, yay, thank you for cleaning it up. But also, why did you do that like 4 months ago? Yeah. There's if you're gonna, again, the gaslighting of it's just protesting. It's like throwing yourself in front of a car and throwing things at a building, breaking windows, spray painting the building is not just protesting. Okay, excuse me, that's defacing, federal building. Right. And then on top, you're like the people are trying to change their shift, they're trying to get in, they're trying to get out, do whatever the business is, and you're just throwing yourself in front of the building and the cars. And then, well, what choice do I have to, like, instead of the police being directed to clear the street and stay on one side of the street, here, across the street, have your protest with your signs, you have your little drum circle, whatever it is you want to do. But they've been down there with this gigantic speaker that's going till the wee hours, loud music. And it's like, that is not, we're beyond the pale. And then for the chief of police to just be like, it's just one block. We've got 150 whatever other blocks. It's like, what kind of, I don't want a police chief that's just going to give up a block of the city.
That's like saying, they only cut off one finger. It was just one finger. I've got 9 others. Why do I need more?
We only had one murder on that side of town. We've got 3
like that same. I mean, I live in Northwest Portland, and we just literally found, the cops a couple weeks ago found a woman shot in her car in the middle of the night, between Northwest 21st and 23rd, and it's like, hi Steve, how you doing, bud? Love you too, bud. It's just one dead woman in a car from a gunshot wound. It's like, what? I mean, like, I don't want to live in a world where that's just okay. Like, and let's be frank, it's obviously more than just one block, because I've gone down there with Honey Badger, and in the middle of the day on like a Tuesday, and just walking around, and they're menacing. They were menacing us. They were not just leaving us alone. We're like sitting there talking on a bench, and like the crew they're recording us. It's not just one block, and I'm in fairly good shape, but still, it's still kind of like, okay, do I have to like fight my way out of this neighborhood now? Like, what? Am I in the hood? Is that what's going? Like, what's happening here? And I mean, I don't feel that way about most neighborhoods that I've gone into. So I think, we got one part of the city council that wants to investigate Israel, because I don't know, that I think, they're communists and they're committed to destroying Israel. So
City Council of Portland have jurisdiction over Israel now?
Apparently so. Apparently so. They want to investigate businesses that supplied Israel with weapons. And it's like, you're so above your pay grade. Can you just fix the potholes and make sure? Yeah. Northwest 23rd, it looks like a teenager's face. Like, just somebody please fill the potholes and make sure the buses run on time, and just like there's cops that come when you call, you don't get somebody's voicemail. And just basics of things like that. So I think what to kind of just answer your question, I kind of went up my own rant again, is that you've got the city where they are trying to, and I'm sure the governor is supporting this, like, because the state police came earlier in the weekend to like close off the street, give I guess rapid response time to clean up the stuff that was left over. And long story short, it's like, thank God it's happening, but also, damn, why couldn't you just do this 5 months ago?
Right.
And it's 10 o'clock, guys. You got to shut it down. Okay, people, then it's kind of like the law's on the books. Then what's the point of the law? So nobody has to follow the law, or just these people don't have to follow the law?
Right.
And then why don't they have to follow the law? And I mean, it's very clear that I'm going to assert, I have no evidence that they're in every level of government. It's totally my opinion. But
Ciatta, when I was there, and this is what had changed. I had been in Portland, not at the ICE facility, but I'd been in Portland, and there were no cops on the streets, and we were literally brawling in the middle of the streets. I was there with the Proud Boys and the other guys, and we were literally brawling in the streets. No cops, no nothing. The cops were there the night I went there. It was a Friday night when they thought the National Guard was coming in. It was that first Friday night, and the whole atmosphere changed into like a carnival, but it was like one of those dark carnivals, you know what I mean? That, oh my gosh, I'm in a foreign country, I don't know the language, and they're going to take advantage of me. I just know it. And, and it's sad because Antifa, if they took off their mask, they would look like the most nerdy people in the world, and no one would be afraid of them. The blue hair, the glasses, they're 90 pounds, but you can't tell that when they're under all that gear. And I grew up in the barrios in Albuquerque. I mean, I spent a lot of time there, and the gang members never had to dress up because they were scary MFers just on their own. They didn't have to, you know what I mean? There is no Antifa in the hood because they would get their ass kicked.
Sure.
And so that's what pisses me off, is that we're getting bullied, and we're getting bullied by the nerds, the people who were the nerds in the high school. And if we defend ourselves, all of a sudden we're the criminal, and they don't have to follow any rule of law or even etiquette. And it's just incredible that this is going on.
Yeah.
Didn't Nick Sorter get arrested for somebody attacked him, and he was the one that got arrested?
Yep, him. Definitely several of the folks that came for once they hit the national news, that they came out and they were arrested as well. I mean, it's just like it's sad, because it's like, gosh, I hate for it to deteriorate into just a clown show and just violence and fighting and all of that, because ultimately at the end of the day, that ICE building is for people who actually need the services. They're for people who are there to get support with their cases. They need to go into that actual building to get the paperwork done. And don't mind my cats. Apparently it's playtime. But it's, and all of this makes it hard for them, and every time I ran into folks who were like, well, why don't they just leave the protesters alone? And I would say, like, well, it's not so much just that they're protesting. It is because they are, menacing people, threatening people, elderly people, low-income people live in that building. Some folks have been threatened by knife point. They've been asked to show their ID. As like, what are you, the Gestapo? Like, I actually went to Germany when the wall was still up. So, like, this is a real thing where you have entire sections of cities just given over to mob mentality and that fascistic rule. So, to hear the police chief just say it's one block, it wasn't just one block. It was literally like that central area right there by where the ice center, from where the old spaghetti factory of maybe like a block up, kind of like that whole block. But how many people live on a city block? Several hundred?
A lot. Yeah. I mean, that building, right? Caddy corner from the ice building, that's full of people over there. And they're just getting blasted with the smoke and the music and the noise. And I'm thinking, how much could they be paying for rent over there? $1,500, $1,800, $2,200 more for rent. And you got to live with that crap. And now the owner of the building or whoever's managing is telling them you can't even have guests over anymore because it's gotten that bad. I'm sorry. You pay that much money. It's hard to find housing, and you pay your taxes to the police that are supposed to protect your rights. And what are they doing? They're protecting the criminal who are keeping you up at night so that you can't go to work to pay the taxes in the first places.
Well, it's ran by REACH, which gets county and state money. I'm sure they get federal grants as well. So you're not only just taking, our tax dollars and not doing what you need to do with the police, but you're taking our tax dollars and like funding the housing for these folks, which is fair. But then you're not taking care of the property that we're paying for.
Yeah. Right. So wait, something else that you made a really, really salient point that was very important is I'm not anti-immigration. I'm anti-illegal immigration, and I'm all for immigration. We need immigrants to come to this country, period. But we want immigrants who love this country, who want to be part of this country, who want to enjoy McDonald's and Levi's and all the culture that we have here and what we've made over the centuries. And those people are being denied the ability to become real Americans because we're trying to protect the criminal illegal element who has come into this country illegally, and we're protecting the people who are trying to protect those criminals. Absolutely.
Well, my mom's from Liberia, so legal immigrant. Her whole side of the family's from Liberia. All college educated. They all know how to read and do math. Amazingly, Black people.
But can they get an ID?
like
They have driver's licenses and IDs. Who would have thought?
No, but I always thought it was funny when they were saying, if you force people to get IDs, the colored people won't be able to vote. I'm like, what?
How?
You're saying black and brown people don't know how to get IDs? Since when?
It's just the most absurd thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to be like the most poverty-stricken person ever. But I don't know who. Anyway, my point is, my entire family has ID, even if they don't drive. They have a ID. They've gone to college. They know math. Like, all of these things. The reason, like, I hate so much that black faces are used as the reason for just like Slavic living and it just decrepit and like all the reasons to make the state, the city, the worst possible way. That they just say like, well, blacks can't do it, browns can't do it. It's like, I don't know who you people are talking about because that's not. I don't know these people who don't have.
Yeah, and I grew up in some areas. I grew up in some areas of white trash trailer park redneck Iowa where it's like, yeah, now I can see these folks not being able to figure out how to get an ID because they can't even figure out how to live in a trailer house, in a reasonable manner. So, it's like there is no such thing as the standard black person or the standard white person or the standard brown person or Mexican person.
Mm-hmm.
Just to like put everybody into one big it's like the stereotype. It's like you know what, some people do match that stereotype, but 99% probably don't. And to use that stereotype just means you're really narrow-minded about the whole situation. Because it's like, I probably was, I don't know how old I was until I saw somebody who wasn't sort of Northwest European white. So,
Yeah.
And it took me a while. I went to a college where it's like, people were from all over the world. And I'm like, oh my God, there are people from all over the world. I've only seen them on TV.
Right.
Well, that was the weird thing when I moved to Oregon. I was like, where are all the colored people? Where are all the Mexicans? Where are all the you know what I mean? It was like, we live in such a white state. It's like, I'm from the Southwest. You know what I mean? We've got Indians and Mexicans and people of all colors, and we're all in the same neighborhoods. And it's like, I moved here and I thought, wow, this is the whitest place I have ever lived. I'm feeling a little rejected.
Yeah, right.
I met the 6th black person of Coos County.
Holy cow.
Avery Horton.
Well, I'm originally from New York, so it is like, I'm from New York City, 8-9 million people on one island from literally every part of the globe. So you can get whatever you want there. And then I lived in South Florida, again, another like huge Hispanic culture is there, Haitians, again, international culture. St. Louis, even like there was a huge Mexican population there, just a bunch of people all over. So it was definitely like a surprise for me to not have as much exposure. I could literally probably go days without running into like another black or brown person. And it's just like, I had a friend from Atlanta come visit last year. She was telling her mom, she's like, it's literally empty and there's like no black people. And so, like she was here like a few days. So, we could go back into the history and the laws on the books as far as like how we got where we were with regards to, the black population. So that explains a lot of it. But, definitely watching on TikTok when black folks have come visit and that they do a TikTok and the first thing they mention is that homelessness. Like, wow, it's just all over, like it's like, again, the black people are like, what's up with this? Why is it like this?
Right. We have homeless people in New Mexico. We have homeless people in Texas, but it's not like what it's going on here in Oregon. New Mexico and Albuquerque it's been like this. It's been very similar to Portland, but that's because they had the same policies where they think it's a right for somebody to camp on the sidewalk. And I don't understand how somebody believes that's a right because the rest of us pay for it to walk on it. Hence the term sidewalk, hence the term street. I mean, we buy these things in a collective manner so we all can use them equally. And if one person is getting the privilege of stopping people from using those public facilities, we're all having our rights violated by one person. And it just ticks me off because, like you said, it's usually a young guy in his 20s who's very capable of getting his ass to work if he chose to.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, there's more times than not. And the thing about it that drives me a little crazy, especially coming from the East Coast, is like everyone just keeps their head down. They just look down, just stare at their phone. Just don't look, and don't, like, if you're on the Max or you're on the streetcar or the bus, whatever, and somebody's like losing their shit, everybody just looks down and nobody stands up and tells, like, in New York, and be like, sit your ass down, like, get off the bus, like, I'm going to be late for work, and unfortunately, I just read a news article of a man who did stand up and say, like, hey, I'm going to be late for work. He ended up getting killed by 3 guys, like, stomped out on the bus. And it's like, gosh, no wonder people shut up. No wonder people don't say anything.
That really makes me want to go to total public transit because, I want to be locked on a metal tube, unarmed, with a bunch of psychopaths who are going to kill me if I speak up against them violating others or myself. Yeah, that's what I want to do is public transit. Yes. Right.
Well, I mean, hey, apparently, according to Mitch Green, nobody's leaving. That's a myth. Nobody's leaving. Money isn't going out the door. People are moving in. I mean, all of these people that like can't see, can't hear, can't read facts, can't read numbers. I don't, to me, this obviously, Victor Davis Henson made a really good point. He called this Oregon, Washington, and a few other states the neo-Confederacy. It's like, this is in fact it, because we didn't get here by accident. This was planned. And, I think this last year, from running for office last year for city council to now my new campaign, which is running for House rep for District 33 here in Oregon, realizing it's like, maybe, there was a little kind of East Coast arrogance of like, they're kind of naive over here. Maybe they just don't know they could do it a better way. Maybe they just don't. Maybe they just don't understand. No, they understand. The people who are doing this totally know what they're doing. It's not by accident. It's a total plan. And frankly, Portland red-pilled me. Congratulations. 2-time Bernie Borough, now a Republican. And it's like, how do you do that? How do you mess that up?
They did a great job of it. And the thing is I haven't always been a Republican. I've been a non-affiliated for 25 years. I was a libertarian, and I fought with the Democrats and the Republicans both. The Republicans weren't conservative enough, and the Democrats weren't liberal enough. It's like, the Democrats, they want gay marriage. And I don't want government involved at all. I don't care if you're into polygamy or same-sex marriage. I just don't want to be licensed to get married. I got a license to own a dog. This is how much I want government out of my life. And then I would look at the conservatives and they would want certain gun laws. And I'd be, no, we don't want any gun regulations. Shall not be infringed, because the next thing you know, and I just gave the example, I'm on public transit facing a couple of people who want to do me harm, and I have no way of defending myself. And this is what they've done to our country. And now I'm a Republican, and I'm trying to straighten out the party because I've seen what Donald Trump has done. I've been inspired by it, and I wasn't a Trumpian. I didn't vote for Trump in 2016. So now I've been converted, and it's all because I have seen there is common sense out there. All of us, most of us probably, and I'm talking collectively, probably aren't even involved in politics. Probably 90% of the country doesn't even give a shit. And it's us who are talking back and forth to each other, who are the only ones who gives a crap. Right. And so that's the funny thing, is that I don't know how much of what we're doing really is affecting anything, because like I said, you have the rest of the 90% of the population who are going to live their lives and not give a damn whether it's an R or a D in office.
Yeah. Sure. Well, I mean, here in Oregon, especially 30 to 40% are non-affiliated. So people have thrown up their hands. They might still be very left on the left or left of center, but they definitely see when you're fighting over bathrooms and pronouns and all the things that go along with that. And as a gay woman, I'm just like, that's not really what I'm working. Like, that's not my concern at all. Like, I just want to, same thing, like regular people, pay my bills, have a good time, hopefully buy a house in the future, have a family, things, normal human things, like not that complicated.
Right.
But if it's hard to do all of those things, if it's a livability issue, an affordability issue, and safety issue, then I mean, I can only go down this lane for so long before I had to stand up and say something like, "Hey, listen, I'm climbing an uphill battle here with this particular district because it's 24 double D, meaning like, so if it's normal districts 50-50, it's 24% plus, so nearly 75% likely to vote Democrat. But the fact is, like, between the waterfront residents, between this summer, we had over 600 people show up at the Armory pushing back against the mayor's plan to just install 200 overnight beds, shelter beds. Again, people weren't being heard, especially in Northwest Portland. We do deal with homelessness. We're right here by downtown. We're right here by 405. We have to experience it. People picking up trash and human waste, all these things. That's been going on for a very long time. And what is supposed to be a very nice part of the town has a lot of people sleeping on the streets and in neighborhoods. Maybe the folks on the hill don't really have to worry about it, but the ones low on the ground near 23rd, we still have to struggle with these things. And so, for me, it just is synonymous, all these different ways, whether it's rural concerns about farm and regulation or in the city with homelessness and drugs and all that. It's just all symptoms of the same problem. Our leaders are not listening to us. They're doing whatever it is they want to do. And it's just time for working class folks to say, you know what, enough already. That's why I'm running.
Thank goodness. And I really hope you win, because I'll be the first one to drive up to the meeting that you're sworn in at. Thank you. If you win, I want to be there. I want to film it. And I want to see you in action, because I think you're going to be a breath of fresh air if you were sitting on that city council. I mean, just you're forthright about everything. You're pretty outspoken about things, and it's that Yankee attitude. I was born in New York and moved to the Southwest, and it's the same thing. They quite don't get that New York attitude. You know what I mean? And
rocks are hard and water's wet and numbers don't lie. Like, here are the facts. And the facts don't care if your feelings are hurt. And we could go have drinks afterwards and I could rub your boo-boo. But I mean, at the end of the day, at every single layer, on every single measurable level, we're either last or close to the bottom. And anything that makes this living anywhere worth living, and education and public safety and blah, 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 economics, all the things. So if we can't change that and can't turn it around, then it's a wrap. Forget about it. We're going to go the way of Detroit.
Yeah. And Detroit was, anyone who wants to see how a modern city can just self-implode, Detroit is a beautiful example. I remember Oregon, here in our county, I forget which agency was doing their economic plan and on how to spend public money. It was more economic. Their economic plan is spending a lot of our money on projects that probably are going to go to waste. They're boondoggles. And so they were talking about this, and the guy goes, and this year our conference is in Detroit. And I go, well, why don't you drive around Detroit and see what their economic development plan has done to the city before you start your meeting? Because that's what you really need to focus on, because they use the same type of plans that draw from the property taxes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You've got enterprise zones aren't too bad, but urban renewal and those type of taxing structures that steal money. And Portland's got a huge urban renewal agencies out there that create debt and then has to be paid for with other taxing districts. Right. And I think we are either second or third in the state for a county with the highest percentage of urban renewal districts here in Coos County. Can you believe that?
Wow. That's crazy. I do want to clarify one thing, Rob. Last year I ran for city council. This year I'm running for Oregon State the House of Representatives.
Oh,
So
cool. Thank
District
you.
33. Yeah. So just want to clarify that. But
That's even better. It's a shorter drive to Salem.
there you go. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
That's right. And no, it's only an hour away. So yeah, no, I mean, I'm up against this was Dr. Maxine Dexter's old seat, and so
Oh my God.
so and now we've got another doctor who's in there, and very nice lady, Dr. Isadora. I've met her a couple times. You know, so this isn't a personal thing. It's just like I can't afford you, lady. you can't vote for the transportation tax and think like I'm just going to take it on the chin. I'm sorry.
I'm a little dubious of a doctor who can't explain the difference between boys and girls. I mean, Maxine Dexter was, blathering online about something, and I'm like, and you're a doctor? I mean, a real doctor. We're not talking like Dr.
Really?
Jill, who got a doctorate education from a Delaware university because the Biden family said so. I mean, we're talking like a real doctor, as in like treating patients, not doctor as in Dr. Maxon Mambo or,
And be
Doctors of
careful,
Medicine.
Ciatta. Be careful because it's politics, and they'll try to ruin you, destroy you any way they can, and it just makes me mad what they do to people. And there's a lot of good people out there who they've really just trashed, and it's sad because you're a nice person.
Yeah, the nice thing with Ciatta at this point is like a lot of the epithets they throw at Republicans can't be used with her. So it's like, hey, you're a Republican. You must be a racist. Oh, no, you can't be a racist.
You can't do that.
You're a Republican. You must
Well,
be.
I joke that might as well call me a black lesbian Nazi
LGBTQ.
because
It's like, no, they can't do that one either. So, And now
yeah,
you
I
have
mean,
Robin
I
Campbell.
kid that I'm a black lesbian Nazi because it's like, I mean, if I say a biological truth, then I'm a terrible person. And it's like, sorry, I just don't like child sacrifice. I'm the weirdo, I guess. Like,
Is that Schwartz Nazi? I mean, how do you be a black Nazi? I'm not sure how that works.
I'm fully embracing it though, like Trump is. It's like whatever, I can cure cancer, and like you're still gonna be upset with me. So whatever, like sure, call me whatever you will. I mean, it is what it is. And yes, thank you for the heads up and the warning. I mean, I'm just doing a lot of prayer and just talking to the people. Like I'm just talking to business owners. I'm just talking to just normal folks who, despite maybe voting blue their whole life, they're like leaning in this whole year. Like, yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. It's like, great. Then what? You don't have to tell anybody you're going to vote for me. Just circle the circle.
That's the whole nice thing about anonymous voting. The anonymous voting means you don't have to tell anybody who you're voting for. You could, I could walk in wearing my tie-dye shirt, driving up in a Prius, and everybody'd go, "Well, that jerk's voting Democrat." And I'm like, "No, I'm not."
Right.
Yeah, I mean, because I was a nav for all the years I lived in California. It was like I lived in California for the better part of 20 years. I was always a NPP, no party preference. Moved to Oregon, I was nav. I really didn't want to be associated with politics. I didn't care. I mean, I just assumed whoever was running the show was just the puppet in charge for this election. And then next election, if the other side won, it's the other side of the same coin. And, but I do align with the sort of libertarian policies of, defend our shores, deliver our mail, stay the hell out of our lives. And I'm not and I'm not even convinced about the deliver our mail part of the program. But the whole thing is at some point, somebody went after Rob, and by me, it kind of went after me as well. And I was like, okay, that's it. When they come after my friends and put them out of business and make their lives miserable, like the Roseburg 6 or the Roseburg 8 or the Roseburg 7, I don't know. A bunch of people in Roseburg got kicked out as well. And I'm like, okay, now it's time to come off the sidelines and start getting involved. Now, people want me to run for office. I'm going, well, that's a bad idea. Just a horribly bad idea. But I will be doing stuff I can do, which is looking at data, looking at machines, looking at elections, looking at trends, figuring out ways that we can start building the base back. We don't have to be, that's why we're the friends of the Coos County Republican Party, not the Coos County Republican Party, because we have to go the long way to get back to where we have a group in our county that all kind of aligns with common sense and the way that we think things should go. As you were saying, water's wet, rocks are hard, facts, numbers don't lie. And that's what we're trying to get back to is like, there's a lot of common sense out there that people would love to get back to. And that's what we're trying to do. I mean, we're trying to, get it back to where, it's okay to have a differing opinion. We don't have to be, I mean, some of the stuff we're dealing with in the Coos County Republican Party, it's like, if you don't belong to this church and don't believe in this kind of Christianity, then we don't want you in the party. And I'm like, wow, how very inclusive of you. I mean, and it's like, so, and this is part of your fund, this is how you're going to get people to join the party. I can't imagine that's going to be a winning tactic at all.
And it's not working for them. I've stepped outside, if you can see. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, I figured you were out trick-or-treating.
Well, I was going to tell you, I'm going to try to walk down to the cemetery since it's Halloween.
Oh, there you go.
So since if I black out for a few minutes, as in my camera goes out, not if I black out, but if my camera goes out for a few seconds, my phone should pick it up. Okay.
All right.
So keep putting the comments on there too as well. But
yeah. So yeah, like for me, it's kind of a no-brainer when it comes to what is Steve saying? He's saying, what is Steve?
Steve put up a comment that says, "Black lesbian Nazi. When your arguments look so insane, you can't even voice them without publicly outing your own insanity." Ciatta, black lesbian Nazi, coming up tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bad joke, and I hope no one takes offense. But it is like, what? I mean, just to state facts and things that, 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, were just Democrat policies. Like that's the crazy thing. Like, this is what Bill Clinton would say. This is what Obama was saying. Hillary was saying, just 10, 20 years ago. So it's just like, why is this so complicated now? And, for me, it's a lot of, maybe it's the performative aspect of things that just really drives me crazy, especially as a New Yorker, where it's just like, are you guys serious? Just be honest, just be real. Like, it's a very white community. Okay, I don't care. I know where I moved. I understand it. Like, I don't need you to break your neck, bend over backwards to try to make up for it. Like, bad things happen in this country and other countries over race. We get it. Okay, but Oregon wasn't a slave state. I get it. But I know there were rules in place that made it very hard for Black people to move here. Like, I get.
We were a closed state to even join the union. We decided to be a closed state because they were trying to stop the spread of slavery, and of course that led to no one coming here. And we did the same thing to the Chinese. I mean, The Chinese weren't allowed to be here, so it was horrible rules that they put in place.
Right. So it's like, look, I get it, but that was a long time ago. And that attitude, for the most part, at least my experience, is obviously shifted. I'm sitting there talking to you guys from Coos Bay. Like, if I'm not mistaken, that was a sunset town at some point. Maybe I'm wrong, but at least I feel like someone told me that. But years ago. So, look, times change, things move on, we progress. But my fear is really that because things are seemingly happening so fast economically, that while everybody's just pretending, that blade of grass is totally fine, which it is, that one blade of grass, that there's going to be like a big drop in some way economically or what have you. I don't know, but it will be so large that folks won't be able to pretend anymore. But once you get to that point, then it's like, you got to climb. So like, I use Detroit as an example. I think 10 years ago, they filed bankruptcy. They're still trying to come out of that.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the feeling I get as well. It's just that, people are slowly but surely getting red pilled. I mean, it's like you got red pilled recently, and I was sort of in the, denial stage for a long time as well until I moved here like 6 years ago. And then, I got to see it on a smaller basis where I said, oh, I'm moving to Coos County from the San Francisco Bay Area. This is going to be great. There's going to be Trump signs. It's going to be, there's going to be no corruption, no crime, no political corruption because, it's small. Who's going to care? This population, whole county is like, what, 70,000? That's like a neighborhood of Oakland. I mean, come on. Nobody's going to be. And then I got here and found out the ugly reality of the situation. And I'm like, well, at least here I might be able to do something. And so that's why I started getting involved and trying to help out and do things, because it's like you want to get the feeling that if you make an effort, it's going to make a difference. And a lot of people have kept their heads down going, well, I just don't think I can make a difference. And when Rob and I were out gathering signatures, and you might have experienced this as well, a lot of people were like showing up going, I'm so glad somebody's doing something, and I'm so glad I can sign and help out. And I'm like, oh, well, that's the whole point. I mean, we're trying to lift spirits by saying, you too can help out. You can sign this. Or maybe you could take one of these clipboards and get some more people to sign. Or maybe you could show up to one of our meetings where we try to get more people organized. And all of a sudden, people are like, it's sort of like waking up from a really bad nightmare. And you're going, well, the nightmare is still going on, but at least now we're starting to wake up and we're starting to understand there are ways to negotiate our way out of this stuff. And you're getting, I mean, the problem is mainstream media is still pretty much owned by the people that are trying to hold us down. So it's they're going to keep doing their narrative. But thankfully, we have like this show, and we have X, and we have, other venues. We are actually getting alternate information that is done by people who actually do real journalism, do real, research and find out facts. Data Republican is like, she like connects all these NGOs and shows you exactly the $294 million that was put into the No Kings protest. Everybody's going, oh, it's a grassroots protest. I'm like, that it cost them $294 million. Yeah, real grassroots there, guys.
That they all clock out at 1 p.m. though.
Exactly. I know. It's like you drive by at 11:30 and there's like 60 people there, and you drive by at 12:05 and it's like ghost town.
Yeah. Seriously, the first No Kings protest, I happened to be off that day. I was driving around town doing chores, and I remember I kept seeing older people with these signs throughout the city. I was like in Milwaukee at one point. I was driving back to the city. Then I was going back southeast. I was all over, and I kept seeing older people with these signs, and it was like, why are there so many of them getting off the backs of the bus with their signs? And I look at the clock; it's like 1:30, and it was like, what happened? Like, it's not even is it lunchtime? Are y'all taking breaks? Right. It was like they all like, all right, enough of that clock out.
I gotta get to the early bird special at Caro's.
Well, really, like the hotel I work at, I've got folks that have come in for the weekend. It could literally be its own form of tourism, protest tourism. Folks will come in on Friday. They're like, hey, we're here for the protest, and we kiki about that. And then like, oh, they're asking, so where can we go for dinner, or what can we do? What else is going on in the city that weekend? It's just like, I thought you were here for the you're here for the protest.
Can
Like,
you
oh, you
recommend
want to
some place in
protest
the
and
city?
catch a show and a dinner? Like, what the?
Yeah. Can you recommend some place in the city where I can go to after my protest? After we burn down the ice facility, do you know a nice place where we can get a really nice wine and maybe
Right, right.
But that's what it was like, though. That's exactly what it was like. It was like, okay, now that we've done rioting and busting into stores, what would you recommend for today's brunch? You know,
Right.
it was like, come on.
It's so crazy. I'm like, aren't you here for the pro? Okay, well, yes. Here's our list of restaurants in the area. Like, it's just so crazy. It's like, oh, we're going to Hilbert's after Higgins after for dinner. Oh, okay, after the protest. Got it. All right. I'm just like, I mean, that passion is not quite the same as it was, I guess, in the 1960s, where you go all night. But the fact is. The vibe has shifted, like I said earlier. The kids, younger kids, are just like getting off this like woke train. It's cringe now. Mom and dad and grandma are on it, just like any of us when we were that age. If our parents were doing it, it's not cool. So now everybody's like, whatever. It's like, to be no shade to Democrats, but being a Democrat isn't cool anymore. Like, it's just not.
Yeah.
So I go back to at the beginning of the show. If they were truly to put on a Halloween trick or treat episode, they would all be dressed like Norman Rockwell, and that may be a generation away from that happening.
I mean, what we're seeing, more younger, more Gen Z going back to church. You're seeing a drop with the non-binary identification, the trans identification. They're like, all of that vibe is over. Like again, something about this last November's election. He just gave permission for people to just be able to speak reality without worrying about their houses being burned down and all of the things. And now people gotten fired because of laughing at Charlie Kirk. Like, everything has shifted. Everything has shifted. More and more people are saying, like, they're aghast watching the Democrats celebrate that. They're, now getting mad at the Democrats for this whole holdup with the finances and not voting to reopen the government. In every way, they're they got nothing for the working class, and it shows. Saying Trump bad for another 3 years isn't going to be a smart policy.
Yeah. You can only ring that. You can only. It's sort of like I used to live in an apartment building where this guy's car alarm went off like every 10 minutes.
Oh God.
And it would be like, okay, if the car alarm goes off and you go look and you're going, nothing going on. And then the car alarm goes off again, like maybe an hour later. You go out and you look, nothing's going on. So after a while, you just stop paying attention. And it's the same thing here. Everybody's gone, Trump bad, Trump Nazi, Trump Hitler, Trump fascist, no kings. And you're like, at some point you just go, I don't even hear you anymore. What the hell is it you're saying? First off, none of this makes any sense. Here's a guy that could be just sitting in a lap of luxury, a multi-billionaire, enjoying his golden years with his children and his grandchildren, playing golf all over the world, being a friend to all world leaders, and just yucking it up. And what's he do? He comes back for a second round of having nothing but people crapping all over him, lying about him, making up things they can charge him with, violating the law and the Constitution to look bad, going after him and his family and everybody that worked for him. I mean, what's the latest thing that came out? The Frost thing. Let me look. I can find it. It's called
the Arctic Frost.
It
was the same thing we used to call Hillary Clinton, or at least her vagina.
But anyway, yeah, Arctic Frost comes out, and this was a pattern. They actually went after, there was 320 Republicans that were targeted. And a lot of them were senators, and a lot of them were high-ranking officials that were targeted for no other reason than they were willing to work with Trump. And It's like, so this, the whole point here is that after, like I said, he works for free. His first presidency, he gave away all $1.6 million of his salary to charities. Every quarter gave away $100,000. that was his salary. He gives away a lot of money to charities anyway. All the lawsuits he wins, where he wins tens of millions of dollars in defamation suits, that all goes to worthy causes. On the other side of the equation, Mr. Autopen was making billions of dollars by using his family and his position of power for years and years and years, and nobody says peep one about it. And then it's like, and so it's just like I said, it's like the car alarm going off every hour. At some point, you just stop hearing it. You stop listening. And another thing is just you just don't care. At some point, you're like, hey, that guy's car alarm's going off for the 20th time in the last 10 hours. I hope somebody is stealing his car. Period.
Right, get it out of here. Yeah. Well, I will say this. I've got to start getting ready for work, but I will say this: like, there are folks who are in Portland who are Democrats who are they get it. They see the nonsense. They're I would call them very left, but anybody who doesn't 100% agree is now Stalin, or excuse me, again, Hitler. But the fact is that they totally get it. They just want, like, they're moderates. They're like, we just need to get cops back. We need to take care of the first responders. We need to take care of these vulnerable people, get them the treatment they need, the drug treatment, the mental health. The folks, if you got a family that just needs 3 months of first class security, that we could do for housing first. If that's all they're missing is an ID or something like that, they just need a handout to get, or they work or they sleep in their car. There are a lot of people who are homeless that work and they sleep in their cars. So it's like maybe they just need money to get into the apartment, something like that. Yeah, let's do that. So we can, because there's different realities of homelessness, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we need to address them versus like this blanket that covers all the things. But I think in the next year, as unfortunately, I think for a lot of folks who are committed to Trump bad, who like this blade of grass, it's totally okay. Okay. But when that blade of grass, when the bottom drops out of the public school enrollment, or again, like we're seeing with the city tax revenue, when that drops again, because we're losing businesses. It's like those people either have to decide to face reality or they could just leave. I mean, most of them can afford to live in this fantasy anyway. So if if really hits them, they get to decide for themselves, like, okay, well, this is too hard. I'm going to bail, move somewhere. Maybe go to Colorado, wherever, honey. But you know what I mean? Like at some point, again, rocks are hard, water's wet, and the reality is just going to slap people in the face. And no amount of calling everybody a far right, whatever, is going to make up for the fact that,
Yeah, I mean, in this situation with SNAP going, as of tomorrow, I mean, this situation is going to affect a lot of people. And a lot of people that have been saying, it's pretty obvious that this is the Schumer shutdown. And this is pretty obvious that they've even posted videos of them saying, we are using these people as leverage. Otherwise, we won't get everything we wanted in our package, which is billions of dollars for healthcare for illegals, and millions of dollars for overseas things that really have nothing to do with making my life better or your life better or the economy better, and it's just like, at some point people are going to wake up to the fact that they've been fed nothing but lies. And then you see all these people that, are losing their jobs, and we get a lot of nice wind noise out of Rob, but losing their jobs and, in media, and people are retiring in media, and people are like, basically used to be like a very high profile people are now like disappearing into the background because there's a lot of stuff going on where, people are starting to wake up, and it's not going to be, it's a lot of people have known about what's going on for a long time, and it's one of those things where you got to kind of trickle it out. You can't just hit them with a big tidal wave of, oh, by the way, here's all the huge corruption that's been going on, and it's been endemic in everything that you do. insurance, car insurance,
Yeah.
Government policies, homeless stuff, so forth and so on. And then it's like you got to kind of trickle it out so that it's like, okay, how much can people digest and how much can people understand? And this whole like government shutdown thing, where this time they didn't cave. They just said, you got to get your 60 votes and we're not going to negotiate. You get your 60 votes or that's it. And
Yeah.
it's going to point out the fact that all these dirty deals that have been costing the country trillions of dollars have been going on for a long time, and they must stop. The only way we get our country back is we stop giving all our stuff away to somebody else.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, 100%, 100%. My heart goes out for the people that are going to experience heartache and trouble, parents who have kids who are going to wake up and not be able to feed their families tomorrow. Again, my heart goes to the people who are actually paying the price for these terrible policies,
Yeah.
Not the ones who are virtue signaling,
And there's a lot of, one of the things is we're also talking about the fact that, okay, there's 46 million people on SNAP, or in Oregon, 750,000. It's like, how many of those people really, really need it? How many of those people are the people that need it? If we got rid of, let's say we got rid of all the people that didn't need it and all the people that are not supposed to get it, say like illegal aliens and whatnot, and then all of a sudden all that money would be available to the people that truly need it.
Yeah.
And maybe this is the kind of shakeout we need. We need to like have DOGE, the Department of Governmental Efficiency, going after all this stuff as well. Let's get rid of all the grifters. Let's get rid of all the people that aren't supposed to be getting this money. Because
Right.
if you have $100 and you have to give it out to 9 people that don't deserve it and $1 and one person that does deserve it, and you get rid of the 9 people that don't deserve it, then that one person gets 100 instead of everybody getting $10. So, the whole idea is we get rid of the grift, we get rid of the bloat, we get rid of the bureaucracy, and then what we can do is it'll be the same amount of money, but it'll be more for the people that really need it. And there are ways to reorganize these things. I mean, I can't say everybody should go Mormon and have at least 2 years of supplies in their basement at all time. But I certainly kind of did that because when I was super, super poor for a long time and I started making money, I started putting, stuff aside so that if I did lose my job or whatever, I didn't have to immediately take the next crap job that came down.
Sure. Yeah, it's nice when you got money saved up. I've been there before where I've had to do what I had to do, and times where I've had 6 months worth saved up and able to make a choice. So yeah,
Right.
absolutely. We got to bring back industry. We got to bring back business.
Well, I've walked around my complete neighborhood listening to you guys talk. This is really cool.
I love it. I love it. They're like, happy Halloween.
You're going into
I
Ray's to buy some cheap Halloween candy now that Halloween's over.
Yeah, right. I think, like I said, I feel good. Again, I've been talking to folks for the last year since the election, not really knowing what I wanted to run for, but it's like a lot of people are like, I totally agree with you on this, that, and the third. So there are just regular people here who maybe might not be on the front lines of, although I do wish Trump would kind of stop telling everybody we're on fire. We're not on fire, bro. Just calm down, Grandpa.
Right.
All right. Chill out. Okay. But okay. It's hyperbolic.
Yeah.
He's an old New Yorker. What's he gonna do? He's talking shit. But it is all right, people don't understand that aspect of New York and they take him super seriously. But the fact is, it's it's not great either. Let's also it's not fine. There's a lot of things we could be working on to make things. Oregon should be one of the richest states in the union. I'm convinced of it, between the various natural resources that we have, the industry, how you've got generations of people going back 5-6 decades or generations. And it's you know, you got everything everything you have here, and the work ethic of people who are from here is amazing. It's just,
we have lumber, we have timber, we have fishing, we have crabbing, we have high technology, we have, you know, a lot of natural mineral resources. There used to be a whole lot of mining that went on in Oregon at one point.
Mhm.
You know, and the lumber industry used to like pretty much run everything. And oddly enough, it still could today because last I checked, lumber is renewable. Hey, who would have thunk? You know,
There's a lot of trees out here. We need to cut a few of them down.
yeah, they're crowding the roads and stuff. Get rid of those
Right.
trees. 'Cause you know they absorb CO2. They absorb CO2. Isn't that ruining the atmosphere? Or wait, no, is it exhausting CO? Is it giving out CO2 that ruins things, or is it absorbing CO2 that ruins things?
It's too much CO2. But it's right. Trees, they like we breathe out CO2. They give us oxygen. It really is like
trees suck it up and then give us oxygen. Yeah. No, I was just pretending I was like concerned about the environment. I'm like, oh my God, will somebody think about the CO2 the trees are sucking up?
Well, guys,
out of CO2 soon. What will we do?
We'll be fine.
Yeah,
I gotta run. I appreciate the chat, though. Thanks for the invite, Rob. Always a pleasure, Marty, Steve.
I really enjoyed having you on. I love talking to you because it's like I feel like I have an insider on Portland. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right. I snuck out past enemy lines, and I'm like, "Here's what's happening."
You should like under the blanket covers, peeking out, going, "I can only talk for a minute."
Right, exactly. About the Morse code this the message back. We're safe. Everyone's fine. We're not on fire, but also it could be better. I'll say that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, thanks guys. You're great. I'd love to chat with you guys. I'm sure we will. So election is next year. If you're interested in supporting my campaign, it's elect Ciatta, Ciatta, HD33, the number 33.com. So check it out. I'm working on building up the website. It's going to be real sexy with some fancy pictures and whatnot in the next couple of weeks. And so looking forward to that. And it'll be a lot more like pro, candidate website. And yeah, I'm just going to be out in these streets preaching the gospel.
Cool.
Now we
have a great one, y'all.
Robin stereo.
Yeah, so there, fix that.
Yeah.
You made it back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a great night, folks.
I know it's always great having you on the show because it's always a lot of fun and you go through a lot of topics and it's great because that gives us something to kind of bounce off as well. So
nice.
Yeah, it works out well.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure we'll be back. Hopefully in the new year, we'll catch up on all the new Portland adventures.
You got it.
All right, folks. Have a great one, guys.
And I may be up there soon. I've got a friend who's going to be coming to Portland, and so I may be up there soon. So I'll let you know because then we can go and hang out with Chelly, Honey Badger mom, and see what she's doing. So that'd be really cool. Yeah. You take care.
All right, guys. Have a great one.
Have fun at work on Halloween night. So
on Halloween night.
It'll be great. I'm putting it out there. Have a great one.
There you go. Take care. All right. I love talking with her. Like she said, it's like we have this inside person who could go to Portland and incognito. She's able to get the news that we want. So, Kevin G's asked me, did Rob get any candy out there? No, I went to the cemetery because we don't have any kids here in Bandon, very few, and we're like a geriatric center. And so I went over to the cemetery and checked out some of the headstones, and I still haven't ever seen a ghost there. I don't know. I don't know about these ghost hunters.
It looks like you walked over to the Rays area as well, and I thought maybe you're trying to, get in there to, get some Halloween candy, last minute Halloween candy. Halloween's over, half off Halloween candy. Woohoo!
Well, Ernie Garrett was there, and me and him always go back and forth over Trump. He's not a big fan of Trump, and he was there, and I was trying to wait for him, but he was taking forever in the store, so I just kept on walking. But I wanted to talk to him too, because I thought it'd be interesting to catch somebody who has, a different kind of opinion on Trump.
Yeah, well, I get a lot of that from just about everybody I talk to, except maybe you but the people that meet at the HQ. Other than that, most people are have really bizarrely bad opinions about Trump, and I'm like, where does this come from? And then I realize they probably think mainstream media is still a thing, because I read half the comments on Facebook about stuff, and I'm like going, this is not even, I mean, it's unhinged, but two, not even close to the truth. So it's just like, okay, it's fine to go, oh, I just don't particularly like him because he's too brash, or he's too abrupt, or, he's not very, doesn't look like a model, he doesn't look like presidential material, or whatever, or I don't like his policies about China, or I don't like his policies about, tariffs versus taxes, but mostly it's just unhinged ranting about garbage that mainstream media has been promoting for the last decade. And I'm just like, I'm trying to be as patient as possible, but it takes some people forever to wake up to the reality of the situation. And I'm just
that's one of the things this guy is pushing. He pushes that whole Trump's a pedophile. He's Epstein's buddy. And I haven't quite figured it out. And he's destroying democracy. And then I always have to remind him, well, that would be okay, because we actually don't live in a democracy. We live in a constitutional republic, and we pick our representatives through democratic processes. But sometimes they just don't get that. That was probably the best thing that Drew Farmer said at one of the meetings when they pinned him on what kind of country are we? Are we a democracy? Because the Democrats were saying, oh, we're a democracy. And Rod Taylor corrected him, said, no, we're a constitutional republic. Or maybe it was Rod Taylor. No, actually it was Bob Maine. It was before Drew had won. And Drew said that someone asked Drew the question, and Drew said, no, we're a constitutional republic. And I was blown away that he actually went that far.
Yeah, because, it's, the whole Trump is a pedophile thing and release the Epstein files. I mean, the Epstein files are about as credible as the Steele dossier or the other materials that came out. I mean, they're distractions. And let's put it this way. If Trump was truly associated with Epstein and truly was a pedophile and truly had those kind of heinous things going on, it would have come up a long time ago. They wouldn't have had to pay for the Steele dossier. They wouldn't have had to make up all this BS about the first impeachment where he was doing quid pro quo with the Ukrainians, which never happened.
Right.
They made all these things up. And, and like the E. Jean Carroll, oh, I was raped in the Bergdorf Goodman dressing room, which is exactly like an episode of, that show, and she was paid $2 million by Reid Hoffman to say that, just like Reid Hoffman paid Blasey Ford to lie about Kavanaugh. So, it's like, if he was truly that person, it would have come out a long time ago, because they wouldn't have had to fabricate it. They could have just said, here's the evidence. Yeah. And yes.
It was like the dossier, like you said, if Russia would have had the goods on Trump, we would have got those goods. They would have been delivered. And that just the fact that they weren't means that he wasn't. But I myself, I'm of the opinion that the Epstein files, it's not that they're bad files. Some of them probably are, because it's the government. They screw up. I still think it was a honeypot situation where he was working with Mossad or other three-lettered intelligence agencies. And they were using the girls to blackmail him, like Prince Andrew, who just gave up his royalty.
Yeah. He's no longer a royal. He had to give all that up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just like,
I mean, in the old days, they could marry their sisters and have all kinds of babies with their
well,
cousins, and nothing was wrong with
that's how
that.
the royal family existed. I mean, everybody was inbreeding because, you know, that's why some of them turned out a little weird. But no, I mean, yeah, there is that going on. There is the honeypot. There is the Mossad, CIA, whatever, because that's how you keep your politicians in line. That's how you get them to pass all these laws that you want them to do. And, you know, it's there is, you know, a list of people that have taken flights to Epstein Island, like Bill Gates, like, you know,
Hmm.
just like a whole laundry list of hundreds of people that have been there. But,
That's
you know,
why
the
Bill
whole,
Gates is coming off this climate change.
yeah.
See, Donald knows he's got the goods on Bill Gates, and he says, "Hey, you come off of those cow fart thing that you have going on and want to depopulate the world, and I won't expose you diddling the young girls that you were diddling there with Epstein on his island." Yeah, that's what's going on there.
Well, and to be honest with you, let's say I did have all that information and I was
Mhm.
somebody like Trump, it'd be like, okay, let's, you know, let's there's so many people that need to be prosecuted for so many crimes up to high treason here that you know, you got to do a little bit at a time because the whole idea is if you know if you blast all this stuff out, the news cycle, you know, 2 months from now we're going to be what was it we were talking about 2 months ago, you know,
Yeah.
and so the whole idea is to keep a trickle of this going on, and also you can still use this as you know material to get people in line. You
Yep.
know, it's like all of a sudden now, you know, allegedly, yeah, keep putting that up because
Yeah. I don't want to get sued. I've been threatened
yeah.
by all the greatest of peoples, pedophiles and senators.
Hmm. But yeah, I mean, if you know that one in particular, that's sort of it's still very useful as leverage. So, you know, it
Yeah.
would be nice if, but the list is so long and so deep. I mean, the thing is, it's going to destroy Hollywood. It's probably going to destroy
Yeah.
the careers of a lot of politicians, and you know, maybe a king, or you know, but not that king. No
Right.
kings, yeah, you know, Prince Andrew, the no longer prince guy. He's just Mountbatten, whatever is his head. But anyway,
Reg says Oregon is under communism. No republic here. End vote by mail is liberation. God gave us our inalienable rights. We have to fight. Yeah, Reg, I agree
yeah,
with you.
can't argue with that.
Yeah, I can't argue with the truth. And um, what else did I want to? We do have a new. Oh, I'm gonna have to share this. I'm gonna have to share this. Well,
Yeah, so
first
we
let's
should
start
tell.
with this.
Yeah,
Um,
the new HQ, the new Friends of the Republican Party headquarters at 3229 Broadway Avenue, Suite H in North Bend, Oregon. It's at the corner of Broadway and what's the cross street? Newmark?
Newmark, Broadway
Yeah.
and
So
Newmark,
we're right behind the McDonald's.
right behind the McDonald's. And yeah, pick up your free shopping cart over at Walgreens. Well, it's not free unless you like to steal. And come on over and yeah, come and see us. See
Yeah,
where
we're
that
gonna have
gets you.
we have the two petitions that are currently out: the end vote by mail and the vote before tolls. We currently have those on hand. As soon as we get the let's put the tax on the ballot, we will have that as well. We're going to be there 2 to 6 Monday through Wednesday. We are looking for volunteers for people that would like to come and work in the space. It can hold up to 200 people. It's a pretty large facility, and we're going to have Wi-Fi, and we got a lot of comfy chairs and couches, and you know, a fridge so you can have sodas and cold water and whatnot. So, you know, and then we've got another. Well, where do you want to go with this? So once we've said, hey, we got the new HQ, and then Chris is having the coffee with conservatives tomorrow, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't have the little meme that he had sent out. So
Yeah.
we'll just have to tell everyone tomorrow at 8 o'clock, 8 to 11. This is Chris Castleman is having a coffee clatch. What is he calling the coffee thing?
He's calling it coffee with conservatives.
Coffee with conservatives. And I can guarantee you the coffee is excellent. It's that good Ray Gen coffee, very good stuff, excellent stuff.
Sure,
You
that's
can't get any better. And they'll have that there. And people who want to, because there's so many morning people. I'm not one of them, but there's a lot of morning people out there, and I think that's a great idea that he's doing that.
Yeah, let's see if I can find that graphic real quick.
Oh, that'd be very cool. Yeah, so listening to Ciatta, it almost kind of gives you a little bit of optimism, maybe a little bit that maybe Portland could possibly at some point turn around. You know, if you got someone like her who is doing such a great job of you know, convincing people that what they're doing is wrong and running for office and doing so much, it gives you hope. Gives you a lot of hope. And then you got people, because we had Joseph Whitcomb on as well, another guy from Portland, and you know, he was out there doing those protests. So I always think of Portland, and I when I hear about Republicans, I go, really? In Portland? Really? Yeah. So I guess it was kind of cool she got 4 signatures in front of the courthouse, because that's where some of the riots happened during 2020.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you know, I don't mind standing out on the street and having people like call me names and whatnot, but I don't think I'd be so certain about like going to that place, you know, that facility in Portland and doing that. So got to give her props for that, because she's got more guts than I do when it comes to doing that one.
Yeah, it's you know, it's like being in a bad neighborhood. After you've been there for a while, you get kind of desensitized to what your environment is. It's almost to the point where you don't even notice it anymore. The baby screaming, the you know, the cars screeching, and gunshots off in the distance, and the helicopters overhead, and the arguments that you can hear. After a certain point, all that just gets completely toned out. And I know this because when I moved here to Bandon, it was almost too damn quiet. It's like the only thing we could hear from the little rental house we had was the horn that they had out on the buoy.
Horn.
Yeah, where you go. And then you'd hear that in the middle of the night, and it was like a Scooby-Doo cartoon, you know? It was like, oh, this is weird, man.
Yeah, I mean, when I first moved here, it was like I was so used to living right next to a freeway that, you know, one night it was like 3 a.m, and I hear the background, and I'm like, I was so used to living next to a freeway that I just thought, freeway noise. And then I'm going, hold on, I'm in Bandon. Where am I going to get freeway noise? It was the surf. It was high surf, and it sounded like freeway noise, but I was so used to hearing freeway noise that I just made that connection. It's like background noise. But there you go.
I can see that. The ocean does kind of sound like that. I can see that.
Yeah. But yeah, and then we were talking earlier about like the guy with the car alarm that keeps going off. At some point, you just don't hear it anymore. Yeah. I mean, if you live in a crap neighborhood, I mean, I've lived in some really crappy neighborhoods, and you
always hear a car alarm. That was the other thing. You just completely. That's another thing that gets drowned out, because if you paid attention to it, you wouldn't be able to sleep. You know.
Yeah. Car alarms, screaming people, occasional gunshot fire, definitely racing cars, loud arguments, thin walls, and a lot of traffic noise. That too. But yeah.
I lived in an apartment. It was a 2-bedroom apartment, and next door to me, for a while, there lived a prostitute. And the noises I heard coming from her apartment were just, well, they would embarrass a long haul trucker. Okay. And then the other apartment was a family of, I think, like 10 Hispanics living in a 2-bedroom apartment. And give them credit for that. But it was like, you know, if you didn't learn how to tone things out, you were going to go crazy. I don't know. At a certain point, I was looking forward to solitary confinement.
Yeah. No, I've lived next to people that they were just arguing all the time and loudly with thin walls, and you're just like, sometimes you can tune it out, sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
Got used to wearing headphones, listening to loud music. So
Yep. Yep. That was a good escape. So every Saturday from here on out and for the end of time, well, okay, maybe not that long, but
until we
every
get kicked out of
Saturday
the
until otherwise posted, we're going to be doing 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And like I said, I probably won't be there for too many of those. I might make a surprise guest. Saturdays is a hard day. That's kind of like my family day.
Yeah.
And since I'm not a big morning person, it's like you're double tagging me on that one. So
Yeah, double whammy on that one. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to drive an hour to Coos Bay to be there at 8, and I'm like, I get up in the morning, I drink coffee. After about a half pot of coffee, I'm mostly civilized.
right.
So
they got a new website for the right to vote on the gas tax PAC. That's the PAC who is doing the referendum on the House bill, and I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but here is the website, Stop the Gas Tax. And I'll be having this posted as well when I get the chance. And we'll have this all over our social media. And it once again gives you all this information, the home, the bill. Let's see what bill it is. Since it gives us the bill, we might as well see. And it's not giving it to me. What's going on here?
So what's the URL again? Stopthagastax.org.com?
.com.
Ooh.
.com. Okay, so here's raises gas tax 15% from 40 cents to 46 cents per gallon. Oregon is already among the top 12 highest gas tax states. I don't know why. That's absolutely ridiculous. Increases payroll wage tax 100%. Increases statewide transit payroll wage tax from 0.1% to 0.2%. And I know people go, oh, well, it's less than a percentage point, and well, no, it's still a tax that we have to pay, and we pay too many taxes. Doubles many DMV fees. Vehicle title from $77. I'm going to love this. $77 to $216. Passenger vehicle fee from $43 to $85. Utility trailer or light trailer fees from $63 to $105. Moped, because God knows we got to get those mopeds too. And motorcycle fees from $44 to $86. Now, here's the thing, Marty. Most of the people who are out there driving on mopeds, well, they can't really afford a car or any real means of transportation. They probably live with their mom in their mom's basement. They're 35 years old. They can't get laid. And what is their mean of transportation? Moped. And we're going to double up on making those people's lives who's already living a miserable life. We're going to make it more miserable.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be like really upset people on mopeds. It'll be the mopey mopeds because they can't afford their vehicle fees, and they're kind of depressed about the fact that they have to get around on a moped. And well, nobody gets laid if you're driving a moped. So I mean, even if you have a really cool Vespa scooter and you fake like you can speak Italian, you're not going to be able to pull it off, and you're certainly not going to be able to pull it off if you have to pay twice as much in fees.
I don't know, Marty. I watched Elvis Presley, and I forget which really hot chick that he went around with on his Vespa, and I forget if it was Italy or Spain. I forget the Elvis Presley movie, and even Elvis Presley just couldn't make it look cool. I'm sorry, even the King was having troubles with that one.
Hold on, no kings.
No kings. Martin Luther King would be mighty upset with you.
Yeah.
Higher cost for families. The total cost of these tax fee increases will add $600 in higher cost for many Oregon families. Now, on top of that, we're going to be facing an election coming up this November. Well, luckily here, we don't have any taxes on the ballots. But next year, we've got a primary coming up, and we've got the general election. And I've got a feeling one of the school districts or one of the cities or the county is going to try to shove a tax down our throats. And once again, I'm going to have to fight against it. And they'll go, well, Rob, we don't have any money. And it's like, I don't care. I wish I could make the state not have any money because they take too much already. And that's the problem. It's not distributed fairly or equitably or even equally. And that's why we're having so much problem. I mean, who wants to pay for a jail if no one's going to put these people in prison? It's ludicrous.
What's the point of having a jail if we don't have enough DAs or assistant DAs or police to put people in jail or keep them in jail? So, I mean, the DA's office is what, 1,500, 2,000 cases behind.
Yep.
I mean, even if they could get all those cases through, where are they going to put them if we don't have a jail? So, there's a lot of things that need to be paid for. The one thing that really got me about this tax is that, you know how they've been harping about, oh, you got to have green energy. You need to have an electric vehicle. You need to have a hybrid. They're doubling how much it's going to cost for a hybrid or an electric car now. And I'm like, and they're going to start charging a per mile fee. So you have to give them your odometer readings, and then they're going to charge you per mile. And I'm like, hold on. I thought I was doing the right thing by going out and getting a hybrid or an electric vehicle. And now you're screwing me over too? Well, that's not very nice.
Not very nice at
Very
all.
nice at all.
So I'm thinking of having a petition circulation class to teach people what the rules are with getting signatures, because you know how many times people come up and they'll give us a line of bullshit. Oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. If you do this, they won't be qualified. I mean, It's like someone was worried because someone was writing in green pen or something, and it doesn't matter what color the ink is. The only thing that a person really has to have is a signature. That's the only legally required thing, but they like to have all the rest of the stuff so that they know what date you signed it and the address that you live at, and they want you to print your name because they probably can't read your signature. So we want you to do all of that other stuff. But there are some do's and don'ts, and I want to go over that. And so we may be having a meeting. And the nice thing about this referendum is that there are a lot of people out there who are now going to learn the petitioning process because they're going to be high energy, really anxious to get this done. And so I've already seen Western Liberty Network set up classes. I've seen other Republican groups set up classes. So people are learning the process. And what we may get out of this is that we might not be the only, clowns out there in our tent, our three-ring circus there with our cowbell trying to get signatures. And, it's, what can you do?
That'd be a great use for the space. I mean, we could do, here's what you need to know about the petition process.
Yep.
Here are the real rules and regulations about how they should be filled out, and why you need to watch over them, and why the date is important, and why you don't sign it until it's all the way full, or you're done with that sheet, and so forth and so on. And make it and then just, hey, let's all get together and we'll talk about what's right, what's wrong, and you too can take some of these things and go out into your precinct and get all the like-minded people in your precinct to sign up. And then you'll find out actually how small your precinct is, and then think about that whole get down to precinct level voting and hand counting and ID mandatory at your local precinct or Grange or church or school or whatever. So, it all feathers in nicely. And then if we can get some TPUSA people involved, I mean, more the merrier.
That would be the next thing that I think we're definitely going to be working on and I know this is because we've got a few people out there who are in contact with the Turning Point USA group in Oregon. There's a state group, there's a state coordinator, and we're working to get that group here. They have contacts here. We will get in touch with those people and let them know you've got a meeting place. That's right. We don't even know you, but we know that if you are a big fan of Charlie Kirk and you're a big fan of Turning Point, we want to have that conversation, and more than likely we want you to be having those meetings at our meeting place because we want to grow the party. And even though Turning Point is a wonderful place to start, the party is actually where the process begins, and going back to the PCP, the building block of the party. So this Stop the Gas tax, it says voters will have until December 30th 2025. We talked to Nick Stark, and he gave out a lot of this information. But all we had to do is collect 78,000 signatures, and I imagine we can double that money. That money we can double those signatures with the amount of people we have. Totally easily done.
Only 79,000? That's great. I mean, that's way less than I expected it to be. Because that's statewide, correct?
That's statewide.
So let's say there's 36 counties. That means you need to get, what, 2,000 signatures per county? 3,000?
Well, yeah, but you're going to add about 20 to 25% more signatures to this.
Okay.
And I would actually double that.
Yeah, but let's say you get 4,000 signatures per county. That's 120 plus 24, 144,000. So, you know.
Easily done. Easily
Because we just turned in 1,400.
Right.
For and vote by mail.
And vote by mail, just one petition. And it's then we have the others that we still are waiting to turn in. Did you hear the news? And I'm sure Michaela's probably already in bed and not watching, but Minix, I guess, I don't know what happened, but nobody has turned in no signatures for the governor recall. Did you hear about this?
No,
yeah, there was an article.
No, I didn't hear anything about it. I just, we basically turned in all the signatures we got, and at that time, that was the last I heard about it.
Yeah, so I was reading a story. Let me see if I can find it. Oregon governor recall. Let me put this up there. But I was curious as what the hell was going on. Regional heads to federal court, and the recall effort dies as no signatures were turned in. This is, let me share this to put this up on stage. And this is from Central Oregon Daily. And let's see, it says no signatures turned in for Kotek recall petition, Oregon election officials say. And it says that no signatures were submitted by Monday's deadline on a petition to recall Oregon Governor Tina Kotek. The Oregon Secretary of State's website posted Tuesday. It means the 3-month effort led by a Lapine man is now closed, and the recall will not go forward. Bill Minix had until 5 p.m. Monday to turn in 292,933 valid signatures to the Oregon Secretary of State's office. That number represents 15% of the total vote in the 2022 gubernatorial election. So my question is Mr. Minix, was the amount so low that he just was too embarrassed to turn it in, or was it? What was?
I thought he went to court to get an extension because of the contradictory wording on the initiative. So I thought that the deadline was extended until that court case was resolved. That's the way I understood it. But
yeah,
I don't know that much about it because, it's not. I was more than happy to gather signatures for Recall Kotek, and it certainly brought a lot of people to the booth because just having that ugly green sign that said Recall Kotek got a lot of people to stop and go, oh, yeah, I hate her. I want to sign that. And then we'd go, and by the way, we have this end vote by mail thing and this no tolls on roads thing. And they go, oh, we'll sign those too. But I was like going, to get that many signatures in that amount of time, I didn't think it had a, snowball fart in hell chance of, passing. And it wasn't my hunt. It wasn't, I had no dog in this race. I was more than happy to collect signatures for him, but I didn't think it was going to do anything. So
no, but the thing is
we handed in all our signatures. I was like, and I'm done. So
yeah, but why wouldn't you turn it in? What would be the reason?
Yeah. Well, unless there's more to the story than that website, alludes to. Maybe it wasn't turned in on time because the lawsuit about the contested wording basically puts the timer on hold. I didn't read the article, and plus I didn't read the article about the I know there was a lawsuit going on about the wording stuff. So
I didn't. There's so much news coming out, Marty. It's
yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
we're actually doing stuff. You know what I mean? We're out there doing stuff, so it's hard to process all the information and be able to.
Today was like, yesterday was like my first day off of, not doing stuff, and I wound up doing stuff all day long. I mean, it's like, and then people were calling me going, if you could just do this and that. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, all right. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, oh, finally, a day where I get to do something, and then ring. I'm like, and I guess not. So,
Political
hey,
therapy.
there's a QR code.
This is
Scan
a
this
great
QR
QR
code.
code
Yeah.
because there are people out there, even who are watching this show, who you don't have to live in Coos County. You do have to live in Oregon, and you have to be a registered voter and registered for either a Democrat Party or the Republican Party, because only the major parties have PCPs, and the Republicans need precinct committee people. And if you live here in Coos County or anywhere in the state, I would encourage you to please scan this QR code, go to the website, and fill out the form to become a PCP. Now, you're going to have to know what your precinct is, and you find that out on the registration card. So if you have your registration card, that will tell you. Or if you're up in the morning, or actually tomorrow's Saturday, that's the weekend, Monday. If you're up Monday, give your clerk a call. She can tell you which precinct you're in, and you can sign up then.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I went to the Secretary of State website, which that QR code will take you to the Secretary of State website, which gives you a online form that you can fill in that will, and the only thing you need to know that you wouldn't know off the top of your head, because it asks you your name, your address, all that good stuff. Well, you should know that, but what's your precinct?
Right.
Well, I happen to know because I ran as a PCP before. So it's like, oh, I'm precinct 18, or I'm South County, or 2CJ, same diff. But anyway, it's like, if you don't know that, I was under the impression that Lark would fill it in for you because she can look you up. And if not, you can call her and say, hey, I'm Joe Schmo and live at this address. Can you tell me what precinct I'm in? And she can give you the information. Or we could print that out and have it at the HQ and just have the voter roll and just go, yeah, look yourself up. Because if you go to the Secretary of State website and you go to My Vote, it will tell you, the last election, was your ballot received? Yes, but it won't tell you what precinct you're in.
No, you have to. Yeah, you have to. And luckily, we have that information, and we will try to have that always when we're open at the headquarters, so we can look it up for you, and we can get you registered as a PCP. Matt Holman, who's from 3H Tree Service, coincidentally, he's now registered as he's going to run in the primary election as a running for the PCP position. And I have to say something before I go any further, because we're getting ready to do my sponsors and talk about their wonderful places of business. There's a local pedophile. We all know who he is. Maybe he's not a pedophile. He's just a registered sex offender.
Registered
I'm not sure that
sex offender with an outstanding warrant.
Right. And so we and he's wanted. There's a wanted warrant out of Nevada. And so, he's a guy who is not a good guy. And he is happy because they nominated him for the Democrat Party to be a PCP, and they didn't appoint him. And I thought that was funny because they could have appointed him. And I know why they didn't, because we would, of course, jumped all over them. You appointed a registered sex offender. Yeah. And that would have been quite funny. But he thought that was such a big deal. And the only reason he's doing it is because we started doing it. And then he went after us and my sponsors, because somehow I'm this evil genius in the county and I have control over everything in this guy's mind. He's just bizarre. It's weird. I'm nobody, just like everybody else. And he's going after businesses who provide a lot of good services for this community. provide a lot of good services for the cities, the counties, all over the area. And 3H Tree Service has done wonderful things for a lot of people and haven't even asked for money back. There have been times when 3H Tree Service has cleared out good portions of the road because trees have come down. They've helped people who have had trees come down on their houses and haven't even asked for a penny. And they are wonderful people to know. And it just kills me that because they happen to like the same things that you and I like, Marty. They like the Constitution. They like American values. They like to have things, well, not in the Marxist revolution. We don't want a Marxist revolution. They don't want one. And so that's why they promote shows like this. They're on a lot of different areas. They promote, they're in the radio, they're in the TV, they're on the newspaper. They just happen to be sponsors of this show. And it just makes me mad so my message to all the rest of you, and those of you who are my sponsors, but to those of you who are Democrats and are tired of this, because I think it's wrong that people go after other people's private business because they have a differing political opinion than you do. And so if you're tired of this, one of the things you can do is, well, be a customer of 3H Tree Service or the other sponsors that I have on here, which would be Tom and Gigs and Herbal Choices. Those people are hardworking people who are just trying to survive out there, and they really don't need this type of aggravation. So I would hope that many of you, if you really like this show and you like the material that we're putting out there, the information that we're getting out there, become customers of our sponsors and let them know that you support them because they support shows like this. They support conservative radio still to this day. A lot of them are still on bi-coastal media because of the conservative voices on those radio stations. And so if you truly want to help out and you have needs, like you got those liability trees with the branches hanging over your eaves or your neighbor's yard, 3H Tree Service can come in and remove that stuff with surgical precision, and you can reach them at 541-294-1800. They are licensed and bonded, and Matt Holman is a arborist, is a certified arborist.
There we go.
Arborist.
Arborist.
Yes. Yeah. See, a cop would arrest me just asking me that word. Can you say arborist? Arborist officer. Oh, you're going to jail.
I'm a barbarist. Yeah.
I'm a barbarist.
I'm a barbarist. Yes. 541-294-1800. 3H Tree Service. It's great when you have trees that are a pest because he can take that pest out of the way in the best way possible. And he's licensed. So, contact him. 541-294-1800.
And you can go check him out on Facebook and check out all those wonderful videos that he has. Tom and Gigs, I was just mentioning them, and the Empire neighborhood that's in Coos Bay on 135 South Shoneman Street behind the car wash. You can find Tom and Gigs at 541-888-4660, and it can help you out with a lot of your car needs. You need a tonneau cover, you need a bar light for that new pickup truck you got. Well, they can take care of that. You need shocks, struts, mufflers. They can take care of that as well. You need to get your car aligned. They're good at doing that as well. They can take care of a lot of your automotive needs, and they do it with great care. And the customers love them over there at Tom and Gigs. I hear nothing but good things about Tom and Gigs. So got to go over there, get your car fixed. And if your car is if you haven't traveled in a while and you wonder, is my car travel worthy? They can check it out and help you out with that as well. 541-888-4660. And there they are, Tom and Gigs, lift kits and performance accessories. And you can pick up those neat RC cars. I keep forgetting to take this photo out.
You forgot to take the surfboard out. But not only do they work on real cars and make sure your car is roadworthy, or, change your oil to do shocks, or maybe add accessories to it, but they do radio-controlled cars as well. And here's some pictures. They don't have the surfboard anymore, but they do have the radio-controlled cars, and they have a lot of them, lots of options, and they're a lot bigger than you'd think. The first RC car I had was only about big.
Yeah.
This thing, well, you can see the guy holding it now. That's larger than your average golden retriever. I mean, that thing can run over your pet hamster and no problem.
Your
So,
golden
yeah,
retriever could ride that to run over
there you
your hands.
go. Yeah, you could teach your cat to drive the thing like Toonses and drive it off a cliff or something. There you go. But anyway,
They
RC
also have
cars, RC
planes,
planes. Yeah.
and they have
And
Eurocopters, and they got Tannerite.
Eurocopter.
So I was looking it up to make sure it was okay that we could advertise Tannerite, because I really wasn't sure, and I
Yeah,
guess
good
I should
point.
have done it before I started that. And as long as we don't tell any people not to use Tannerite for nefarious things,
Oh, okay.
we're okay. And I would never do that, of course.
Yeah. And it's just, Tannerite is a way to, give you a golden skin tone. It's like a tanning lotion, right? No, 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 it's not. It's not at all. So don't use it as a sunblock. Do not use it as a tanning lotion. Tannerite is
Especially
not
both
good for that.
both components together. That's not good.
You must be 18 years of age or older to purchase Tannerite, and you know what? They will ask for you to show your ID. Oh, hey, Miss Nicole Taylor is reposting this stream on X.
Hi, Nicole. Hello, Rod. And she has reposted this stream. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. That helps. If you want to help us out, repost us, share us, like us, and all that good stuff.
Finn, the three-legged dog, could have one of those little RC cars to drive around in. That'd be cool.
That'd be very cool. I'm trying to where'd my button. Oh, there we go. Herbal Choices. TheHerbalChoices.com. And you can find out more at the herbalchoices.com website. And remember, don't operate a car under the influence of this drug. And it's can only be sold. You have to be 21 or over to purchase this. So there was,
and they will check your ID, even if you're not purchasing. I found that out the other day. It's like, hey, they go, can I see your ID? And I'm going, I'm not here to buy anything. They're going, doesn't matter. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they have 5 convenient locations: Charleston, Coos Bay, Bandon, North Bend, and Reedsport. So I've been to I've been in the Coos Bay store. You've
been in the Coos Bay store. Yeah. And so that's one of the rules. You have to be your ID has to be checked just to come in the door.
Yeah.
So,
which I'm fine with. I mean, I don't have an issue with that. I'm a little more upset about the Dollar General or whatever going, not only do they need to see an ID so I can buy beer and cigarettes, because I'm like going, hold on, drinking age is 21 and I'm way over 21. So what's the deal with that? And they're going, oh, we just need to scan your ID, corporate policy. And I'm like, what do you mean scan my ID? Can't I just show it to you? Nope, you got to take it out and they can scan it. And I'm like, that's really annoying. I mean, at least with Herbal Choices, they're like, you got an ID? And I'm going, yep. I showed it to them. They're going, yeah, okay, we're good. Have a nice day.
Wow. I'm getting a message from Michaela, and I guess there's some breaking news. Wow, my Twitter account is just blowing up over here. I don't know what the hell's going on, but let me see. It's been today I was served a subpoena by Douglas County Clerk Dan Loomis for deposition in the Von Loomis election case. Let's see. What's actually scary is the length these criminals are willing to go and how much taxpayer money they're willing to spend to hide the election process from the public. What for? If there's nothing to hide, why? Why are you hiding it? I can't wait to get the octagon. I can't wait to get in the octagon with these dirtbags. Wow, a little reference there to a 70s movie there. They commanded me to provide all communications, public and private, that mentioned the names on this list, including cabal leaders Senator David Brock Smith and Commissioner Tim Freeman. Go figured. Did your name make the list? Oh boy, I bet you your name made the list. I'm willing to bet my name probably made the list.
I haven't gotten any messages at all. I'm just checking my X right now. I got nothing. So, I got nothing on Facebook either. So,
well, let me repost this and let me see if I can get this up on screen because I want to share this. But let's see if I can
Okay, so now that we've finished with herbal choices, should we finish the rest of the ads, or should we go to
Let's
the next?
finish the rest of the ads and then we'll go to. I'm sorry, I was getting ding, ding, ding. So I knew
Oh no,
something
I
was
heard
happening.
it. I was like going, okay, well, something's blowing up your phone.
So I won't drag you to too many more stores, but they are delightful. You did have a
Oh,
good time there,
I
right?
actually liked it. I mean, I was in there looking at. I'm like, oh my god, look at all this stuff. This is not like back in the '70s where like you had to like go buy zigzag somewhere and be really surreptitious about it. I
Right.
mean, they had so much stuff in there. I was like, it blows my mind how much stuff they have here. Wow, look at all this. But what do you know?
And of course, I'm pushing abstinence. So, and I'm going to expand on this. I'm going to have the 7 deadly sins and what actions they are that we should abstain from, so we can seek a higher moral standards and be more virtuous. And so I'm gonna put this together. I'm doing the abstain game, and and one of the things that I'm going to abstain from, Marty, is
Mhm.
onlineness. I got to cut down my online time. And so,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to
um,
do a little bit of that myself because I find myself I'm like, okay, I need to run a couple more voter rolls and I need to like ping some people that, are going to be our expert witnesses. I'm
yep,
getting people from all over the country who have the highest of security clearances and are people that used to do equipment testing for Pro V&V, doing the national testing for security features in voting machines, and people of that ilk that are nationally known to get involved in this Vaughn v. Loomis thing. And so lots of spending a lot of time doing a lot of work on that area. And it's like then I find myself like looking at X or looking at Facebook going,
mhm,
wow, that was a complete waste of time. And it's like, and then I get sucked into some stupid argument. I'm like going, wow, that was another complete waste of time. And now my blood
mhm.
pressure has gone through the roof. So that was stupid. So
And
yeah,
I'm still going to
absolutely.
be mulling over that argument that meant nothing with the guy. If I met him in person, I couldn't give a shit less what his opinion was. And I'll be
Exactly.
mulling over the comment that he made that I didn't have a good reply to hours later. And I go, oh, I should have wrote this.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's the killer for me. It's like, I'm like, well, first off, I normally don't respond to anybody about those kind of things because it's just, you know,
Yeah.
okay, they're obviously an idiot if they're saying something like this. So me giving a well-reasoned and intelligent response to somebody who thinks that, you know, Opie from the Family Guy show,
Yeah.
is a good response. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm just wasting my time here. But there are
Right.
times when I'm like, ooh, you know what I should have said though? Even though I
Yeah.
don't respond more often than not, I still think about what I would have responded if I was going to respond. And it still eats up a lot of my time and a lot of, a
Right.
lot of CPU power is what I say. I'm wasting CPU power here, doing worthless cycles here.
So I'm going to try to abstain from reading the comments and replying to them unless they're a nice, polite question that relates to something we're doing. That's another thing I've been thinking about, is abstaining from just what you said, because it eats up so much time. And
Yeah, I mean,
so,
like the person who should remain nameless, except for the fact that they're running as a PCP in the Democrat Party. We waste way too much time talking about this jerk. I mean,
yep,
if anybody takes him seriously, I mean, the guy spreads nothing but hate and misinformation, disinformation, lies, and does it under numerous pseudonyms, and then plays like the victim. And I'm like, the easiest way to get rid of somebody like that is not pay them any attention.
attention.
If somebody's paying attention to that guy, then they must be an idiot, and we don't deal with idiots. We have a lot of smart people we need to get involved, and he's not one of them. So let's move on.
Let's move on. I totally agree. And of course, Oregon Firearms Federation, because Kevin Starrett kicks ass, and he just released the last 2 newsletters that he has sent out. If you haven't seen it, you got to go to OregonFirearms.org and you got to read his last 2 newsletters. His first one from this week is on my website. I haven't posted the latest one that he has put out there, but he is so astute. and he is so well aligned with people who are true conservatives, truly believe in freedom, truly believe in the Constitution. And he's so well at pinpointing exactly what the legislature should be doing and what they're doing wrong, and better yet, why. He knows Oregon politics. And if you just go read his articles, what he's talking about is totally 100% right on. I back him totally. And because I can tell you right now, there's a lot of name brand Republicans out there who are going to be pissed off because of those last couple of newsletters. I mean, he doesn't hold back one iota, and he's a Yankee too. He's from New York too. Isn't that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's so maybe that's what it takes. A couple of rude Yankees to come out here and straighten out these liberal blue-haired Oregonians. I just don't know. Band and Gun Club, they're not my sponsors, but I like to tell people about where they can get, they can hone in their firearm skills. bandandgunclub.org. Or if you have a rifle, you want to sight in your telescope, Taiga Sports Park Association, and you can find out more at taigasportspark.org. And of course, Coos County Neighborhood Watch. These guys are great. These guys are going out there and catching criminals before the police can catch them. And I mean, they're doing it in live time. And if you want to know what's happening in Coos County as far as crime, and I believe you have to actually live in Coos County or they won't let you on the Coos County Neighborhood Watch.
Oh, wow.
So if you don't live in the county, it's not that we're saying screw you. We just want only county people who are affected. They might let people in from Reedsport and stuff because they're so close. I don't know.
How about Langlois?
I think they would let you in, Marty. You got a friend who has an in. I'm one of the founders of the Coos County Neighborhood Watch.
It's good to know somebody who knows somebody.
Yep. I don't run the site. It's an autonomous group. There are no real leaders. There are admins for the Facebook page, but we think that everyone should be their own leader. And a lot of people have taken that monocle up and have answered the call for good people to come out and not be cucks and take back their neighborhood. And we're talking about people, you know what I mean? We're talking about women who walk at night in the morning and they're just out anyway, walking or out and about shopping and stuff. And they don't have to do anything badass. They're just aware of their surroundings and they take pictures and they get pictures of the criminals and stuff, because the criminals won't realize that there are people out there who just look like average everyday citizens who are now catching them doing the things they don't want to be caught doing. And that's what you can find on Coos County Neighborhood Watch. And because the police do not release mugshots anymore, they have a better updated pictures of the criminal than what the justice system allows people to have from the justice system, which isn't much of a system at all, really.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's I don't want to promote vigilantism, but
Nope.
I do want to promote taking care of your neighborhood, knowing your neighbors, knowing who's supposed to be there, who's not supposed to be there. And just, and basically the whole idea is when I lived in let's say when I lived in small town Iowa, which I did, population 600, everybody knew everybody. And the problem is well, everybody knew everybody, which means everybody knew everybody's business. But there were times when you'd see somebody doing something and it's like, I don't know that person. I don't know why they're doing that. And then you'd go over and talk to them. But then as you were walking over there to talk to them, another one of your neighbors would join you and go, hey, do you know who this guy is? No, I don't know. Let's go talk to him and find out what's going on. Right. And that's kind of what it is. The whole idea is that, keep track of this stuff. Take pictures of these people. Take pictures of their license plates. And that way you can be in charge of the security of your area. It's similar to like Nextdoor, except Nextdoor with a, watch each other's back feel to it.
Yep.
Nextdoor is mostly just bitching about, stuff as opposed to actually getting anything useful done. But anyway, moving on.
Boy, you went on a rant there. Good night for it. Coos County Citizen Council, the last episode of the Coos County Citizen Council was this past Wednesday, and they did a great job talking. Gosh, now I forget what their conversation was about. But it was a good show. Chris does a great job. 6:00 every Wednesday. Catch him on the Coos County Citizen Council. Now let me remove that and get back to this thing right here. And this is what Dan Loomis or his attorney is asking for, correct?
I don't know. I haven't seen what you're looking at.
Okay. You can't see that on screen?
It's pretty small. Let me explode.
Let me see if I can enlarge.
Okay, now I got it now. I had to explode on my screen. Oh, now it's like, ooh, it's now big. Okay.
So all documents that relate to the mention of Todd Vaughn, Michaela, Stephen Jonkis, Natasha Atkins.
Yeah, isn't that a little bit broad? I mean, isn't there something they can't just like throw out a net and say, I want every piece of all documents that relate to or mention these people. I'm trying to scroll this and I can't because it's your screen.
Douglas Frank.
Oh, hey, they spelled my name wrong. Number 14.
Oh, there you are, Marty. Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, but that's not I'm not Marty Kuhrt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're Henry McJames. That's it.
No. That's not how my name is spelled. So I have no idea who Kurtz is. It's not
you're
me.
Right. Only even the government fucks up your name. That's
yeah. But the thing is I thought there was some sort of assertion in the law that said you can't just say, tell me everything you know about every person you know.
Right.
And give me documents about it. You have to be specific. You can't you can't go on a fishing hunt. You can't go you can't just go fishing and throw a bunch of chum in the water and say, I need to, it's like none of this makes any sense. Okay, Scott Pressler, who cares? What's that have to do with the Vaughn v. Loomis case? Oh,
Samantha's on there. Samantha. So congratulations to Todd Vaughn and Michaela and Stephen Jonkis. Congratulations. Tim Freeman, he got on there. He's a commissioner for the county. Of course, our favorite senator, David Brock Smith, and Dan Loomis, the counselor. And of course, Douglas Frank, Seth Kessel, Mike Lindell. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to call Mike Lindell to testify.
Seth Kessel? I mean, wow. I'd forgotten about that guy. But yeah, scroll it back up again. Oh, Davis Wright Tremaine LLP. Okay, no, I haven't seen that one yet. What's the date on that?
Oh, the dates.
Can't tell.
I can't tell on that number. Yeah.
So go ahead and scroll back up. I'm curious because I haven't seen that yet. But a lot of the stuff is just useless. They would have to show cause why they would need that information. I'm sorry. You can't just say, I want every piece of information you've ever had with any person, regardless of whether it has anything to do with this case. I'm like, you can't do that.
Can you read this?
Witness in the above entitled cause and to remain until the testimony is closed unless you are sooner discharged. The deposition will be taken upon oral examination before a certified court reporter authorized to administer oaths in the state of Oregon and will be recorded stenographically as well as by a videographer. At the end of the day, you may demand payment of legal witness fees for the next day's attendance. If you are not paid, you are not required to appear. Huh. Okay. I don't know what legal witness fees are. But anyway, so she's supposed to show up to give testimony. But let's see, what is it? Oh, subpoena deposition. There we go. Yeah. I mean, I've been, so she doesn't know I'm Marty Kuhrt, so she doesn't have to worry about that one. But the whole thing is, okay, I've been brought in on a deposition where they asked me, I had to like write all this stuff down about a specific case. And then they brought in and put me, made me do a deposition where they asked me the exact same questions. Now, this wasn't done because they needed clarification. This was done because they wanted to run up lawyers' fees. because your lawyer has to be there to make sure they're not asking stupid questions
Right.
that are violating your rights. So if they sit you down and they talk to you for 6 to 8 hours about the stuff that you've already written down and made a point of, then all they're doing is running up 6 to 8 hours of legal fees. They're basically trying to run the budget up to the point where people can't afford it. I sued State Farm. State Farm has a lot of money, and they just kept running up the bill. I wound up spending $73,000 to sue State Farm because they wouldn't pay for a stolen car, which was worth $26,000.
Well, isn't that special?
It was, but they kept doing crap like that where they just would bring in lawyers, and finally it got to the point where I was going to actually take it to federal court, and and then they brought in all their lawyers from Chicago, and they had a judge that was like the pre-federal court judge person who said, are you willing to take this to trial? And I said, of course I am, unless they come up with a settlement that that's worth my while. And the settlement's got to be the 26 grand for the car and all of my legal fees up till now. And they came back with a number of 1/10 that. And I said, see you in court. And I was like, okay, and if I go to court, I'm going to get way more money than I asked for. And I'm also going to ask for I'm going to ask for and I forget what it's called, but basically it means that they can no longer advertise on nationally. So State Farm, you'd never see another State Farm ad for a certain amount of time. And it'd be like, and I'm like,
well, I didn't realize.
And my lawyer was like going, and we can make that work. And at some point, State Farm just said, okay, we'll settle. But I had to go all the way to the frickin' federal court level on a $26,000 case. So Dan Loomis and the scumbag squad are coming after, they're basically just trying to run up legal fees. Yep. They're basically trying to drain people's bank accounts. So, but
that's what that's why I believe Michael Brainerd is doing what he's doing with the Coos County. I believe he thinks that he's going to win this. And if he just keeps holding out, he's going to drive up the legal fees for the lawsuit that Danessa Rains and Chris Castleman have against him for violating a couple of the ORSs. And the judge so far has agreed with Chris Castleman and Danessa, and they will be eventually dragging him into court. And one of the things they're asking for is for the legal fees. And I don't think he understands that he will be on the hook for those fees, him personally. And I doubt that the people who are telling him to continue wasting time because he thinks that he's just going to drive up the legal fees for those two. He's in a very bad situation.
Yeah. No, I kind of, he's so much of an idiot. I can't actually be mad at him because I actually just kind of feel bad for the guy because he's being played for a dupe and I don't think he knows it. And I don't think he understands that they're going to be on the hook for the legal fees because this is a drop kick case.
Yeah.
They're going to be on the hook for the legal fees. And that means him, unless, whoever's pushing in this direction has guaranteed that they will pay for his legal fees. It's going to be him and his mom are going to have to eat it.
Yeah. And I don't know if he's clever enough to understand this. And from what Chris has told us, he believes that the party will pay for it. And that's just not good. The party doesn't have any money right now.
Yeah. The party with $2,000 in their bank account is going to cover that. No,
it's going to cover that.
No. And I said, I feel sorry for the guy. I mean, initially I was kind of PO'd at him, and then now I'm just like, that poor kid. Yeah.
Because you met him.
Well, I've met him, and I haven't talked to him, but I've met him a few times. Just like, oh, there he is. Hey, here's my SEL 105. You think you're ever going to appoint me as a PCP? Bet not. Talk to you later.
Anything else you'd like to talk about, rant about?
Oh, I was going to add this to the stage. We have one more place where we can get. There we go.
Oh man, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, so we have one
Oh
more
shit!
place.
Hold on. I'm
Here's
sorry.
the one. Even though I do
Sorry.
kind of like that one as well. I put that one up a long time ago when we're
I'm
talking about
sorry.
no
I
kings.
missed it.
Yeah, but anyway, no, we went off that topic pretty quick. So I was just like, no kings, you're racist. But anyway, back to this. So we have another location where they are taking signatures for the two things you can get signatures now or take signatures for right now, and that's the Sixes River Armory, which is right next to Herbal Choices on Highway 101 South in Bandon, and it's at what 50361 Highway 101 south of Bandon, right next to Herbal Choices. So you can go in there and you can sign the end vote by mail or the no taxes until or no tolls until we get to vote on it. And then as soon as we get the next one, they will be supplied with that as well. So swing by, say hi, sign the thing because whenever they're open, you can go sign. So you don't have to wait for us to do our 2 to 6 thing on
Right.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You can do this every day of the week when they're open. So they've graciously allowed us to take they've graciously said that they will take signatures for us. So I just thought it'd be nice to give them a shout out. So that's about it.
And we don't normally allow businesses to do this unless they have an employee or the owner dedicated to watching the sheets. And this man it's a one-man shop and he's able to watch every person who comes in and signs that sheet. So that's the advantage to having a nice small business like this is that you can do that. But like the bigger stores and they busted other petitioners for doing this. They'll have stores that will leave them on a table and nobody's watching them, and Democrats will go in and sign it and film them signing it and nobody watching it, and they will get in trouble for that. This is actually has happened in places like Portland and such, and we don't want that kind of stuff to happen here. But in this case, this store is able to see each and every individual signature that's being made. So that's the nice thing. And I just had to put that out there because I want everyone to understand that we can't do this at every business. And
no, we can't. We can't just throw it on the counter at McKay's and go sign on the way through.
Yep. And we can't stand in front of McKay's or in the parking lot. Most of the stores won't let us stand in front of them. And I know this because I've asked them and I still need to ask Ray's. I don't know if Ray's will let us do it, but that's still a pretty good spot.
But I mean, it was kind of a big deal that Napa and Bandon let us do it, and the Best Western in Coos Bay, Best Western, right? I can't remember if it was the Best Western or what. The hotel we did in North Bend, Coos Bay.
Yeah, it was Best Western.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I can never remember that.
All of a sudden, I was having a brain fart going, was it a Best Western?
Yeah, and we only announced it for weeks and weeks. I don't know. It's like the date. What day is it? Oh shit! I've only said it 20 times. What day is it?
What do you mean it's almost November? Actually, what do you mean it's 2025? Yeah, I don't remember stuff like that anymore. Anyway, hey, Michaela, there she is. Oh my God, thank him for me.
I wonder what she's responding to though. Thank him for me and VBM.
Oh, probably the gun shop owner.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Okay.
Because I've been in there. It's a smallish store. He's a nice enough guy, really gregarious, and like you said, he will be able to sit there and watch it because it's not like you can wander off in a gun store, really. So
no, they don't usually want you wandering off.
Wandering around aimlessly in a gun store doesn't happen a lot, I'm guessing. But maybe that's just me.
I've had friends who their fathers were pawn shop owners.
Pawn shop guys, yeah.
And it's true, they all have that back room. And boy, you get to see that back room. It's like being a kid in the candy store. I mean, it's like, oh, you got these, It's like, oh, you got those. Can't put those on the shelf. So yeah, there's some really interesting pawn stores out there, and but no, this is cool. Guns and ammo.
Yeah. So it's the actual name of the joint is Six's River Armory.
Six's River Armory.
Yeah. And actually, their website isn't working at the moment. At least it wasn't the last time I checked. So I won't even mention that. So maybe what the URL is, because. Okay. And what else do we have to cover? What else were you going to cover here?
I think that was it. I think I'm going to start the music.
Okay. So tomorrow.
You hear the music?
Cool. Let's call it a day.
Let's call it a day. So until and I got to let everyone know. Hold on. I got to tell everyone the big news.
Uh-oh.
I finally got in touch with Enrique Tarrio.
Oh, yeah.
And I got an interview with him today. And let me tell you, that was a great interview. I haven't talked to him in a while. And he's a really great guy when you sit down and get a chance to just shoot the shit with him. And we had a really good interview today. And he talks about being in solitary confinement for 3 years. He talks about going from, when he started in politics and how it led up to everything to this point. And it was a really good conversation. I think people are going to enjoy it. That's happening Monday at 3:00. I'm going to be putting that out there. And I wanted to promote the hell out of it because I think people should check it out because he's got a movie that's coming out. And it's going to expose a lot of the bullshit that the January 6ers had to deal with. So
yeah,
I just had to throw that out there. So now back with the music.
Back to the music.
And until next time, folks, carry on, Coos County. Carry on.
Carry on.